Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Bryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Father used to say that you were put here for a reason.
So, you flew in last week.
Does he still stand for truth, justice, all that stuff?
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
No, look, it's... you wanted to see me?
Rated PG-13. In theaters and IMAX June 28th.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
I'm doing well, Brian. I'm glad you hopped on. I wanted to tell you about the new article I'm working on. It's called Why the World Doesn't Need Brian Hall. Thought you might like to get a sneak preview of that.
Yeah, maybe we can get into that while we record.
Maybe it'll win me a Pulitzer the way Lois Lane won a Pulitzer for Why the World Doesn't Need Superman.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I only just abandoned you for 5 years without any explanation or goodbye, so...
It's a little hurtful, I'll be honest.
I can kind of see it.
We're here to talk about Superman Returns. It seems like it's a timely place for this discussion, given that we are about to witness Superman's latest return to the cinemas via Superman.
Yeah, this week, which you have already seen, but I have not.
I know. Some interesting context as we go into this discussion. All kinds of double entendres peppered into our conversation, potentially.
And I won't even know.
There'll be electricity throughout this discussion, far more electricity, I might offer, than in the movie that we're about to watch, which is notably electricity-free, at least in terms of chemistry between people.
No, I mean, you being the Superman fan that you are, this came out in 2006. I don't even remember, honestly, what your thoughts are on this movie. So I'm really looking forward to digging into this with you.
I have many thoughts. The one piece of context I will offer before we hit play is that it is now 19 years since this movie came out. By the way, the same amount of time between Superman 4: The Quest for Peace and Superman Returns has passed since.
Wow.
That's crazy. And in those 19 years, I have watched this movie the whole way through exactly twice. Once being opening night in 2006, once being last night when I watched it in prep for this discussion.
Wow. Well, me too. So I'm amazed how much I remembered and just how long it had been at the same time. And so, again,
and how long it is.
And how long it is. But I was going to say, you being the Superman fan that you are, it's fascinating that you haven't gone back, even just sort of skipped through it or something throughout the years. So I'm very curious.
There you go. So there's just, maybe tipping my hand slightly, but there's something worth knowing. Anyway, hey, we're about to watch the movie. You can watch along with us. If not, you can listen to us gab about what we think of what we're seeing on screen while you go about your day doing other stuff, maybe more productive stuff. I don't know. I know this movie has its fans, so I don't want to inadvertently offend. But, let's see how this discussion goes.
Right.
So we're going to do the usual thing. We're going to hit play on 3. 1, 2, 3, play. Brian, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, play.
All right. Wait, have we ever commented on the fact that the subtitles say that As Time Goes By is playing over the Warner Brothers logo?
I don't think we have commented on that.
I've never noticed that before. I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, fascinating.
That the subtitles say it, or that it does in fact play?
I've noticed that it's used the couple notes from it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that the captioning actually calls it out.
Well, I'm glad it does. It's worth the calling out.
Now we know.
That's right.
Yep.
This is the DC Comics logo that existed for a brief time in the mid-aughts. I think they used it on Dark Knight Rises and this and a handful of other things. It is no longer the DC logo. I only bring that up to say that, I was during that era, I was binding my comic books And my voluminous DC Comics collection, I was like, well, this is the DC Comics logo, so that's what I use. So the overwhelming majority of my books have that short-lived logo on them.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, so now I'm just kind of hanging on. I'm like, no, it's a retro thing, you know.
Well, I have to say, when that logo came up last night, we had finished recording an episode, and I had edited the episode, and right after that, I went to dinner, or ate dinner at home, and then I started this movie up. So it was kind of a marathon of all this stuff. So I was a little tired, and I got to say, the sound design during that logo, I was like, not prepared. I was like, what? It's like, it's very intense. It feels like one of those things when they do a demonstration for the sound system in a theater before the movie starts. I was like, damn, I hope that guy got some sort of nod for that, whoever came up with that. I was like, whoa.
So right up top here, we begin with the Marlon Brando narration from the first film. And we're dropped into the explosion of Krypton, and then into a credit sequence that is slavishly homaging the Richard Donner film. And so that's sort of what you realize watching this movie is that it is one of the earliest examples of a legacy sequel.
Yeah.
Right. But really, it's just Bryan Singer wanting to cosplay that 1978 movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it attempts to be a sequel, but really it's just going through most of the same beats from that original movie.
Yeah.
And I would offer that it, for somebody who professes to be such a big fan of that film, I mean, he essentially went and got permission from Richard Donner, who was his producer on the X-Men films, to pitch for this, whatever. I'm stunned by how he seems to have missed all of the important bits about not just that movie but that character. And that's rather remarkable to me because this movie didn't perform the way Warner Brothers had hoped, even though it did okay, and right away it was like, oh well, that's what happens when you try to stick to that old style and what of those 70s and 80s movies. And I'm like, yeah, but this does not evoke those movies in any way other than hearing the music.
I agree.
Yeah. Visually, it's really muddy and kind of,
yes.
It bugged the piss out of me when I was watching.
Me too.
It, right?
Zachy, all right. So look, I a lot of times I'll use your Vudu account to watch some of these movies, but I was like, all right, look, I'm paying for freaking HBO. It's available on HBO Max. I'm going to use the thing I'm paying for. Mm-hmm. So I watched it and I thought, oh, is this not 4K? Like, this is kind of blurry and kind of muddy looking. And so then I switched over to your Vudu thinking you would have a better copy of it. Mm-hmm. And it was the same.
Yeah.
And I since I was very curious about it. So I learned that this was using an early digital camera, right? This is Revenge of the Sith was only a year before this.
Yeah.
So it was a Panavision Genesis HD camera. And you can kind of tell it's like the early, now digital looks incredible and they apply all sorts of filters and things onto it to make it look more filmic, but this movie has this weird, like smoothed out, like, kind of like an Instagram filter look to it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I kept thinking, and I don't always think this, but I was thinking, man, this movie would have looked gorgeous on film.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame. It hasn't aged well visually.
Like I would say the majority of the visual effects and things hold up okay.
Yeah.
But with some exceptions, which I suspect we'll point out. But in general, I question this idea that this is meant to be, Singer sort of continuing that legacy. Because I'm like, in most measurable ways, it feels disconnected from those other movies. Like I don't, and we'll get into it. I mean, some of the casting in this movie is catastrophic.
I feel like a listener now. I'm just sort of licking my lips like I want to hear all of this.
So this is Noelle Neal, who's the very first Lois Lane. She was Lois Lane in the Kirk Allen serials, and then also in the George Reeves television series. She was the second Lois Lane on that show.
Oh, how unfortunate for her. having to play this scene. Good Lord.
This is so odd, right? So you've got this wealthy dowager who Lex Luthor has shown pleasures that no other woman has known, which I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's.
I remember this. This is one of the few things I remember from this movie from 19 years ago, and just being like, this movie feels like it starts off on the wrong foot.
Yep.
And stays that way.
Stays there
the entire time, and not just this. I mean, this is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Icky.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not out of character for Luthor, whatever. But then when you just get into the story about Superman being gone for 5 years, like to me, this felt like a sequel. Like we needed the first movie to understand why Superman would leave like he did in the manner that he left.
That's
Instead, we're just told he left, he didn't say goodbye, and now he's back, and he wonders why everyone's upset. And that's not a great way to start your Superman movie.
Not at all. And for a variety of reasons. Well, and let's just stay with this portion for a moment. This sequence is ostensibly to explain why Lex Luthor has a boat, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it has no bearing on anything, right? Like, if the movie just starts with him being wealthy, we're not going to be like, where did he get all that coin?
Right.
So very odd. Now Parker Posey, I got to say, watching this movie, I'm like, A, she's great in this.
Yeah.
B, she should have been Lois Lane.
Ah, sure. A little more pluck.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. She's not given a lot to do.
Yeah, but Parker Posey's just one of those actors who has kind of she just has a spark,
Oh, I love her. Yeah, I remember I worked on a Christopher Guest movie directly after she filmed this. So I got to sit down and have lunch with her, and I was asking her about this movie. I have like a real vivid memory of that, and saying like, I mean, I know you probably can't say much, but how was it? I mean, it's such a big scale movie. And the only thing I remember her saying was that Brendan Routh, she's like, he's so sweet.
That's what I hear to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had such a crush on her then. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I was like such an awesome thing getting to sit and talk with her like that. But in this movie, all she does is just sort of look glum and
Well, she's kind of playing the Valerie Perrine character.
Yeah,
right?
But she doesn't even like speak much. Like she just sits there. It's interesting. It feels like a waste of her talents.
Oh, I 100% agree with that, and I think that could apply for many of the people here. I mean, even Marie Saint. I mean, she's a legend.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you make Martha Kent more of a prominent character? She gets basically 2 scenes in this movie.
Right.
Don't really impact the story very much. Here's the thing, okay? So, and you alluded to this earlier. The movie's premise is that Superman left Earth 5 years ago. And the movie gets into it a little bit. He thought Krypton was still there. He went over there, and turns out it's not there. And so he came back.
Right.
And it took 5 years there and back.
Right.
Now there is a scene that they filmed that you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you had a chance to check it out.
No, I read about it. I didn't realize it was available.
Yeah, you watch it. It's just it's Superman's ship. It's the big crystalline ship from the first film. Just kind of going through the wreckage, and it's very haunting because it is the Krypton from that first movie. So you recognize it. You know what I mean? And it's like we just talked about Jurassic World. It's a little bit like going through the visitor center. Like I know this. And then it's him, and then as he gets closer, there's like kryptonite all around, and it starts making him sick, so he leaves. The end. Okay. Now this was a $10 million sequence that they shot.
Yeah.
And completed.
Yeah, and then converted into IMAX 3D.
The works. Okay. And then they're like, no, it doesn't work. And I'm like, think about that for a second. 10 million, you could have shot 4 movies with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is Bryan Singer just like actively pissing away Warner Brothers money, right?
Yeah.
But fundamentally, what it gets to is that the entire premise of the movie, this idea that Superman left for 5 years and he came back and the world has moved on without him, that's actually not a bad premise for a film, right?
Sure.
Certainly, that's what Kingdom Come, the comic book series by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, that's what it's about, right? Superman ended up leaving, and then events call him back in, and in that case, it was, the world decided they didn't want Superman anymore. But
does it begin that way? Like, what's the beginning of that story? Is he away and he returns, or do we?
Yeah. So, there's basically a mass. There's a mass killing event that happens as a result of a superhero battle, and Superman is essentially in retirement, right? And Wonder Woman comes to him, and she's like, the world needs you again, and he's pulled back in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't read The Kingdom Come, it's a terrific story.
Okay.
Right, but it gets to fundamentally this idea of what does Superman represent? Why is he important? Right, and you feel like this film was sort of nipping around the edges of that as a premise. But I think that when you make the reason for Superman's absence so nakedly selfish, it's just odd, right? Like, I don't believe there's any circumstance where Superman would be like, all right, guys, I'm going to peace out for 5 years. You guys got this? Right. Especially given that this film was, per Bryan Singer, this ignores 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed it does. We know it does because in 3 and 4, Martha Kent is deceased.
Mm-hmm.
So her existence in this movie says, oh, okay, it's kind of its own timeline.
Right.
But the end of Superman 2, and we've talked about this before, is literally Superman at the White House telling the president, I'm sorry I was gone so long, Mr. President. I won't let you down again.
I forgot about that.
Except in like a week when I leave. So sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I can see that as a concept, but you can't just put text on screen at the beginning.
That's right.
That just says like Superman decided to leave.
Yeah.
And now he's back. And then when we pick up our narrative, everyone's just sad. I mean, this is such a melancholy movie.
It really is. And so and that's what I mean when I say tonally, it just doesn't fit with those earlier films, because say what you will about the Richard Donner movie. I mean, it treats it seriously, but it steps lightly. There's moments of humor. There's moments of joy throughout.
Yes.
And this is a joyless slog.
Yeah. So, I mean, just alone, this being supposedly a kickoff to Superman again. Like you said, it had been, almost 2 decades since, like, this is a reboot, essentially, even though, well, I mean, is it though? I mean, to your point, it's sort of a continuation, but in a way, yes, new cast, new era. And so this just seems like a weird story to begin with, weird tone to begin with. Like, I don't even know what a sequel would look like to this. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Now this was the same year as Batman Begins, right? Or a year later.
This was 1 year later. Yeah.
Okay. So just trying to put it in a timeline in my brain.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was a teaser for this attached to Batman Begins.
Okay.
Yeah. But they both came out in June, so it was 05 and 06.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth recognizing, Batman Begins did okay, but it wasn't like a smash hit, right? Like we forget that.
Yeah, I was looking just at box office stats, and this Superman Returns outgrossed Batman Begins.
That's right.
Which is interesting because the Nolan Batman would then, change the course of superhero movies for years and years to come.
Yeah.
Just didn't know it yet.
Well, and that's somewhat ironic to me. Like when you watch Batman Begins, that is very much a spiritual heir to the Richard Donner Superman.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan said as much.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Donner Superman informed how he approached telling the story, who he cast, et cetera, right?
Right.
And I going into this, it's worth recognizing there was a lot of enthusiasm because Bryan Singer this is pre-knowing what a sex predator he is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to sprinkle that in too, that, we have new context now.
I have to say I was carrying that with me as I was watching this and just second guessing some things I was looking at. Just like, yeah.
By the way, real quick before I even continue, so we get Marlon Brando here, and there was a settlement between Warner Brothers and the Brando estate to the tune of something like $15 million to be able to use Brando's likeness both here and in the Richard Donner edit of Superman 2. So that's why we see Brando here. And
his estate was refusing, and so that was the amount that they came up with to be able to use it. Is that what that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And by virtue of Brando being in this movie and Eva Marie Saint being in this movie, this is the second movie they made together after on the
waterfront.
On the waterfront.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know, just a little trivia.
Yeah. Wow.
You might try putting Superman Returns in your Cinematrix and see what happens if Marlon Brando comes up.
Yes. Oh wow. Wow, this is the first moment I've gotten excited dealing with this film. But Bryan Singer on the back of X-Men and X2, he had a lot of fanboy enthusiasm, right? Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
Right, and he bolted the third X-Men to do this, and people were upset about that. But it was like, oh, but he's doing Superman, and Superman was what he was always the fan of. He wasn't a fan of X-Men, and I've just watched his X-Men movies in the last few weeks. I'm like, they are still good. So I'm like, maybe those movies benefited from him not being a fan,
Sure.
But I've said often, like he dealt body blows to both franchises, X-Men and Superman, by leaving one for the other.
I mean, I have to say, to give him, look, I mean, yes, this is like the broad statement about him. He's a creep and it's terrible.
Yes.
Just strictly speaking, watching this film, I mean, it's a gorgeous movie.
I agree. Yeah.
Right?
Some great shots.
Beautifully shot. Yeah. It's that though is one of its strengths and also maybe one of its weaknesses. It also reminded me sort of like someone who knows they're attractive and keeps staring at themselves in the mirror. That's kind of what it feels like watching this movie a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
Look, so this movie's over 2.5 hours. I would say it has under 2 hours of story.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
But the photography, the shots, the shot lengths, the editing, whatever. I mean, generously, you could say it's reverential feeling, and not so generous, kind of languid. It's very in love with its look. It feels like, and I would say somewhat understandably, because it is beautiful. I kept thinking over and over, like, well, this is very beautiful. Like, it looks like a lot of paintings come to life often, but they just didn't have the sense to trim some of it down and make it move maybe at a better speed.
I remember watching this the first time, and as he's running through the cornfield and he jumps in the air and the music crescendos, and it's the Smallville music written by John Williams, that John Ottman has used, and it made me feel a certain way,
Sure.
And it just reminds me of how this movie was part of my "You Can't Go Home Again" trifecta in the aughts.
Okay. Well, I think I know one of the others. What are they?
Well, we had there was Planet of the Apes in 2001.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. And then there was this in 2006, and then in 2008, you and I had a shared experience.
Oh, of course.
Of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. And it was,
yeah, good.
I mean, between those three, it was literally like you're never gonna have that same experience with something new. So just cherish what you have with what's already there,
Yeah, I mean, I've often said that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the there is no Santa Claus moment of my adult life. I've since, I've softened on it. I still don't love it, but when it's on TV or something, I'll stop on it. But I will never forget seeing that in the theater with you and Sean. And I literally felt like I was waking from a dream. Like I had not just actually literally seen what I had seen. And I remember looking
real quick, by the way, I don't know if you can see on the sill there, we missed it, but there's a picture of Glenn Ford. Yeah, right there. Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent, right next to the graduation picture.
Oh.
Little nod to the continuity.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's all. I sharing that moment with you was very surreal. And, yeah.
and honestly, it was helpful in a way, right?
It really was. I mean, I think it had to happen.
It had to happen, and that's what I realized was like, you're sort of chasing that high.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into this movie with just an armload of anticipation and expectation, not merely that it was a new Superman movie after so long, but that it was meant to continue on from those ones that I loved so much,
Right.
And it doesn't really do that, right? And it I wasn't alone in that reaction. Like that's been sort of interesting because, to your point, like the movie did relatively okay, and I feel like it was a lot of like, it's still good, it's still good. And then you realize like it's not a movie you really feel compelled to go back to.
Yeah, which is a terrible way to kick off what you hope is a new start to a reinvigoration of the series for a new decade.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I saw Rotten Tomatoes, it's somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was like, that feels about right, because I can't say I like out and out dislike it either. Yeah. I mean, it is, I don't know, maybe it is the visuals for me carrying me, because I did like looking at it.
Yeah.
And there are some nice moments in it, but it's just not something that I would want to watch over and over. And it's certainly not a promising start to like a new trilogy or something.
I think the mistake is in again, you want to wrap your premise around this very heavy idea of like, what does it mean to have Superman and to not have Superman? Mm-hmm. And you're also trying to get a franchise going again. And I just don't. I think those cross purposes don't work well.
Yeah, because you mentioned this earlier. I'm sure we'll get more into it, but there's not a huge spark between Clark and Lois. And then also we have this like child at the end where it's like, what do we do with that? Right? It feels like someone had a bunch of ideas and made the movie, but wasn't concerned with where it was going to go next.
That's exactly it. And worth mentioning, by the way, Sam Huntington as Jimmy Olsen, he's having the most fun in this movie.
Yeah, I wish some more of that energy would have been nice.
Absolutely right. Frank Langella, who is a tremendous actor, mm-hmm. I feel like he wandered onto the set and wandered off the set, right? Like, I don't know if he knew the cameras were rolling.
I made a note that it was basically like, if it wasn't played by Frank Langella, you would forget this character was in the movie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like he only is memorable because it's him.
That's right.
Whatever he brings just as himself.
So originally they had cast Hugh Laurie.
I can see that.
Right. And this was when House was going. So you picture him at being the curmudgeonly Dr. House type, And
wasn't Bryan Singer a producer on House?
Yeah, I think he directed the pilot. Yeah. And he was an EP on it. Yeah. So that was probably why. And I think the television schedule prevented that. But when you hear Frank Langella, you're like, oh, okay, I can see that, right? Mm-hmm. But like, he doesn't have any of Jackie Cooper's energy, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You picture Jackie Cooper. What's everybody standing around for?
Right.
Like that kind of lovable, but like in the thick of it.
Yep.
The other thing is Brandon Routh is. I think Brandon Routh is good in this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's great in this movie, and it's mainly because of stuff that's kind of out of his hands, right? Number one, the script doesn't give either Superman or Clark a ton to do. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the other thing is he was explicitly instructed, like, play Christopher Reeve's Clark,
Sure.
And so it's forcing these comparisons.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you think about it, one of the best things possible for the James Bond franchise was that Roger Moore was about as different from Sean Connery as could be.
Yeah.
Right. So like you kind of just had to reset your brain and be like, oh, this is somebody different.
Right.
And I think what got Routh the gig is his resemblance to Christopher Reeve. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, and it's not his fault, but it forces that comparison.
Yeah, and he's just kind of missing that when it's so close. You're like, oh, but it's missing the twinkle in his eye. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just those little. Yeah, you're right. It's unfair if they just let him be a bit more.
I mean, the ironic thing, and the other thing, he was very young at the time, and I think he needed to ferment a little bit because he got to play Superman again a few years ago during that CW DC miniseries that they did, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he was terrific in that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I pulled up his scenes again after watching this just to sort of remind myself. I'm like, no, he's very good. And so, he did need to get a few years under his belt,
Sure, yeah. By the way, that's such like a weird, gross detail about the two dogs and the one dog ate the other dog.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why?
So odd.
Yeah.
So Cal Penn is there, like, hiding wordlessly throughout this film.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, is that Cal Penn?
I remember that when it was released.
Right.
And thinking like, oh, cool, I like this guy. And then realizing he was going to be like silent the entire movie. Like,
so apparently his character, there is backstory that was written and I believe filmed, that he is a disgraced Daily Planet science reporter who worked with Lex to plant a story that Krypton is still out there.
Yes.
And that's what got Superman off world.
Yeah, and I saw that is included in the video game, apparently tied with this, like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
okay.
Krypton's discovery was a hoax, and I was like, that makes me feel worse.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so depressing.
It's depressing on so many levels because, again, it just goes back to something fundamental that, especially in this universe where there is only Superman, he is the only hero. The idea that Superman would leave Earth unprotected, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and just that he would leave for 5 years, and then to learn that it was just based on a lie. I don't know. It just how can this movie make me feel more sad?
And the fact that it's not intrinsic to the plot, right? It's not like he comes back to Earth and he reckons with that and
yes.
It's something essential, because here's the point. I think I've said this before, like, you could have had Superman trapped in the Phantom Zone for 5 years,
sure, yeah,
and it would be unwillingly, and he's worked for 5 years to come back, and he comes back and he finds out the world has moved on without him. Well, that's more interesting.
Absolutely.
And it sets up more areas for your story to go, because who put him there? Are they coming back after him? You know what I mean?
Yep.
This ultimately, it's just, it wanted to make a meta commentary about how long Superman had not been in movies, essentially, and make the point that no, but we need Superman, right? Which it feels like every couple of years the movies are doing that, like. Man of Steel is doing that. No, but we need Superman. And then now this new movie, we need Superman. And it's like, I believe you.
You're right.
I'm on board. Yep. I co-sign your conclusion, but we don't need to keep saying it,
Yeah.
Like, just make a Superman movie.
It was sort of like we recently were talking about the Jurassic Park movies, where it feels like the filmmakers constantly need to be like, now we know you've seen dinosaurs since 1993, and that's not going to be enough. So we're going to have all our characters be like, oh, ho hum, I'm bored with dinosaurs. So we're going to make a bigger dinosaur because like we're ahead of you. We know you're already bored. And I'm always like, no, I'm not. I'm here because I like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It just feels like this overthink.
Yeah.
They do. So that's a cameo, right?
I meant to mention. So Bo the bartender, that is Jack Larson. He played Jimmy Olsen in the George Reeves television series. So both of those actors, Noel Neal and he, have passed away since then. At this point, there is no one left alive who was on the Adventures of Superman television show.
Sure.
Which is one of those weird things. Like I was watching I Love Lucy yesterday, and you realize like everybody's gone.
Yeah,
this is all that exists, and there's something sobering about that.
That is weird. Yeah.
That was Richard Branson, by the way, is one of the astronauts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's you can shoot. You can see it. Yeah, right there.
Oh, how funny! I didn't notice that.
So okay, by the way, Peter Wilson as the flight attendant, or the whatever, right there.
Okay.
She was like a bigger name back then, right?
When you say that name, it rings a bell, and even seeing her, I felt like, do I know who that is? But I don't. It's on the tip of my.
Well, she was on La Femme Nikita, right, in the 90s, I think, on USA.
USA, yeah. Okay.
And she was in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Anyway, my point is, she could have been Lois Lane.
Okay, wait. So not Kate Bosworth.
I'm just gonna say Kate Bosworth, who I've seen her be fine in other stuff. She was in no way suited for this film. The script did her dirty, but she just did not have the chops to play the role in any way that makes Lois in any way compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's calamitous casting, because she doesn't evoke any of the spunk of Margot Kidder.
Mm-hmm.
So to make us be like, oh, it's the same character. She looks younger than Margot Kidder.
Right. Yeah, I read that she's only 16 years older than the boy.
Yes, that's so odd, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do that? Why deliberately put a clock on your premise that says this is set X number of years after what we've already seen?
Sure.
And then go younger, right?
Right.
So none of what they give Lois to do is particularly effective. There's no chemistry between her and Superman.
Yes.
There's no sense of, she's like kind of a dick to Clark.
yeah.
Which is super weird.
I thought the same thing, and it did make me wonder. Then what does he see in her?
Right.
Someone who would be so cruel. I mean, sometimes she can just be like, "Oh, Clark," in the other versions, but here she seems rude to him.
Again, this goes to what I was saying before. Like, okay, let's take you at your premise. This is the sequel to Superman 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen those movies. We see how Lois and Clark are together.
Mm-hmm.
Even when she doesn't know he's Superman, she's very sweet to him.
Yeah. She's
not like, hey, creep, or whatever.
Right.
So it's very weird,
Yeah.
Like when you watch Lois and Clark in their Daily Planet scenes in Superman 2, it's amusing. It's they have banter together.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the issue is not like she doesn't have any time for Clark. It's just she views him like a brother.
Mm-hmm.
But she's affectionate to him like a brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I was curious. I mean, Kate Bosworth is kind of interesting. Like I'm looking her up now. Like Blue Crush, of course, comes to mind.
Like put her on the map.
Yeah, and then I forgot about 21, about the math kids.
Oh yeah, with Kevin Spacey, right?
Oh wow, yeah. See, I've seen all these. Went a Date with Tad Hamilton, but they're very much of an era.
Wasn't she in that other Kevin Spacey movie?
Oh yeah, that's what got her this role. Apparently, he recommended her.
Oh really?
Across the Sea.
Across the Sea, that's right.
Yeah, he came in saying you should cast Kate
and
Bosworth.
Spacey. We should say. I mean,
well, yeah.
Okay, again, another sex predator. Right, which makes a movie hard to watch. But he got the gig on the back of having won an Oscar working with Bryan Singer previously on Usual Suspects.
Yeah, which is, it's kind of easy to forget. Usual Suspects, that was such a iconic movie of the 90s, right? And you forget that Chris McQuarrie and Bryan Singer are the creative forces behind that, right? Because now you think of McQuarrie and Mission Impossible and Singer and these superhero movies, let alone his personal problems. But right, like it just seems that movie feels like it sort of stands on its own as its own little iconic thing. But I always forget that those two were involved with that.
It's interesting. It's sort of like the Dawn of the Dead remake from 2004, which is written by James Gunn and directed by Zack Snyder.
Perfect comparison. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'd like to rewatch Usual Suspects again, because I remember it was that was when I was really getting into movies, and I'd never seen a mind-blowing twist like that before. And I just thought it was so incredible. I'd be curious to see how it holds up all these years later.
I think for me, what continues to be the most memorable part of The Usual Suspects is the parody of the Revelation scene in Wrongfully Accused.
with Leslie Nielsen.
With Leslie Nielsen, which cracks me up to this day.
Yeah.
So this opening reintro sequence of Superman is meant to echo, the helicopter scene in the original film. First of all, Lois should be like a fine paste based on how much she's whipped around this cabin.
I get that they need to make her stand out in this catastrophe, but it almost borders on parody how many shots we get of her whipping around and smashing into the wall, smashing into the ceiling, smashing into the floor. Like it almost does become like a Naked Gun sort of.
It's so funny.
Yeah. And then it's kind of an interesting moment when she's on the ceiling in the free fall and that guy's looking at her.
Right.
But they keep like cutting back and forth and back to that shot. So instead of it becoming this weird shared moment between two people in peril, it almost feels like, well, help her, dude. Like, reach out your hand.
Okay, so this right here, this is where we hear the crescendo of the John Williams Superman theme.
Yeah.
And what I realized rewatching is those are the only moments when my heart kind of starts beating a little faster, right?
Sure.
Which is a problem. Now, we see Superman finally in all his glory here. And what you realize is that this is an absolutely ghastly Superman costume.
Okay, yeah, tell me about it.
Well, it's weird how I described it. It's like a Temu Superman costume.
Okay.
Because it's like they managed to get everything just a little bit wrong.
Okay.
So collectively, it just looks bad, right?
Right.
So like number one, the colors are way too dark. So instead of bright red, it's like maroon, right? The blue and the red, they don't go together right.
Okay.
The neckline is too high. The S symbol is too small.
Yes, I even thought that.
The trunks are too small and too low.
I can't see a shot again, like a full.
Yeah, we'll see when the thing lands. And the boots are too big.
Yeah,
and there's S's everywhere.
Oh, is that, I saw something about that online, and I wasn't sure if that was true or not. So
okay. Well, number one, there's like the S on the belt buckle. There's S's on his boots. The costume is screen printed with S's.
Okay, that's what I saw. Yeah, just a bunch of little mini S's.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like it worked. Like the thing that was there, like all you had to do was just modernize the Reeves suit a little bit.
Well, now this comes after years of attempted new Superman movies, right? I mean, Tim Burton, of course, famously, Brett Ratner, all these other things. And there's all these stories. I mean, the one I know most famously is from Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
When he was involved in the script. But it seems like there was a lot of pushback against the costume from producers, at least.
Yeah.
Thinking that maybe in this day and age, we need to rethink it or modernize it or get rid of the cape. So do you feel like this is a compromise then, where Singer was like, no, we get the trunks, we get the boots, we get the cape. But they're like, all right, well, then it can't be bright. It can't look like what we know from a sunny comic book. It has to look muted, darker colors because it's more serious and realistic. I mean, do you think that's what we're looking at here?
That's entirely possible. Yeah. It's odd though, right? Like, because what you end up with is a very odd looking Superman suit.
Sure.
But real quick though, I love this when he's landing the plane and we get this force wave. Like,
I was just going to call that out. And when the cone crunches in his hand from the force, like you can imagine a version where it's like, no, he just stops the plane and sets it down. But I love the sort of physics of it.
They grapple with the physics of the whole process. I think it's super cool. And really, this sequence right here, so about 40 minutes in, is the excitement highlight of the movie.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Right. So look at you can see the shot that we get of the suit here.
The low trunks. I see that.
It's so low, right? And what it does, it makes his midsection look weirdly stretched out and thin, even though Brandon Routh is a big, tall guy.
Right.
So why wouldn't you build the suit to highlight that, to accentuate it, you know?
Yeah. I do. I mean, I want to call out the moments that I like.
Yeah.
And I do like this.
Yeah, I think
like her seeing him for the first time after, stopping the plane in the middle of a baseball stadium, and then them clearly sharing a moment with one another, and everyone doing the sort of swivel in their seats, like watching them react to each other back and forth. That's a good moment.
See, so this here where everybody starts cheering, like I wonder, would that be the way people react? If he's just been gone for 5 years.
Right.
And I'm not even like, I genuinely, like, I wonder in this day and age, in this cynical age that we're in, would people be as excited?
At first I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And I think because it's at the very least, I mean, he stopped a plane from crashing into the stadium. So there's probably a collective relief or something.
Well, hey, how about this? Why don't you take the plane with you dick?
I will never forget that. You made that point back in 2006, and I've never forgot it. So now they got to get like a construction crew in there to disassemble the plane.
It would take next to no effort for him to just wait till everybody exits. Here, let me get this out of your hands. Continue your game. No. He's got to be a dick about it. Not only did I leave for 5 years because I'm a dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
Well, no, but you're right. I mean, especially in this social media, TikTok, whatever age, like everyone would have a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be a lot more cynical and question everything.
And I will say, the 2025 model definitely leans into the idea of social media as a factor in how people deal with superhumans. So I think.
Oh, okay. I mean, it makes sense.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Now this here, I remember when this movie came out, there was controversy because Perry White says, "Is he still for truth, justice, all that stuff?"
Instead of the American way.
Instead of the American way. And this is 19 years ago. There was all this controversy. Fox News, I'm not kidding. And then now we've got new controversy because James Gunn is like, Superman is an immigrant, and he shows how and Fox News going after it again. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's kind of a weird, ironic thing, but watching this on my iPad right now, it looks so much better when it's smaller.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Less smeary looking.
Yeah, there's just something about the brown and it's just the color palette is so muted. One thing I loved about The Daily Planet in those first two movies is how real it felt. It felt like all the president's men.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I sort of get it. Norman Rockwell's not the right direct comparison, but some sort of warm Americana painterly sort of that's what this feels like to me.
But you do that for the Smallville stuff, right? That's what that
did. Sure. Yeah,
right?
That's a good point. Yeah, this is like big city here.
I mean, I this kid, by the way, is adorable.
He is so cute. He's the only kid I was thinking this last night. They keep making these Home Alone sequels. And the kid is always wrong. That's why Macaulay Culkin is like a miracle of casting.
Right.
You know what I mean? They always just feel it's sort of, I always say it's about Ferris Bueller. You push him like 1 degree in this direction, and he's a dick.
You get Ferris Bueller the series.
What's that?
You get Ferris Bueller the series.
Yeah. He's like this miracle of casting where he's just kind of cool and likable. Anyway, this kid, I was like, oh, if I saw this kid in a Home Alone movie, I'd be rooting for him.
Mm-hmm. See this here where it's like awkward and like, oh, and they don't know whether they kiss or a hug or I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why would you not try to make Lois as warm as possible?
Yeah. Well, your friend is back after 5 years and she's treating him kind of like an afterthought.
It's so baffling to me because if we're supposed to feel something about the idea that Lois has moved on, why would she not have moved on? Right. Of course she would, because Superman left without saying anything.
Yeah.
And the movie doesn't know what it wants us to feel about any of it. The other thing, by the way, is that her husband or her boyfriend, Richard, played by James Marsden, is like a really good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're also like, hey, Superman, why don't you just like leave him alone, man?
I know. Yeah, it adds to that, like, yeah, it's sort of melancholy feeling that I don't want to be feeling when I'm watching a Superman movie.
Right. Well, Bryan Singer, he talked about this movie retrospectively. He's like, we weren't really going for the superhero audience. We were going for the Devil Wears Prada audience.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, and right. I'm like, well, then don't make Superman, Bryan.
Yeah.
Singer, not Hall.
but also, like, I like Devil Wears Prada. Like, that's an upbeat movie.
Yeah. Well, and I think he made that comparison because they were like, they came out the same weekend, I think.
Okay.
So I suppose he wanted to get the girls in.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, is he basically what he's trying to say? Just he's trying to make a movie for women.
It's odd though, right? Because I mean, women watched the original Superman.
Yeah.
They were swept up in the fantasy of flying with Chris Reeve.
Yeah. But to your point, I mean, okay, so you want to maybe plus up the relationship dynamics in the story. Okay, that's cool. But like you said, yeah, James Marsden's kind of a nice guy, and it's kind of becomes almost stalkerly the way that Superman just hangs out at their house and stares through the walls and even like creeps into the boy's bedroom at one point. And that's, I don't think that relates to what it says he's aiming for.
Right. I mean, Marsden is like straight up the most heroic person in this movie.
Yeah, he has no powers and he risks everything.
He is actively placing himself in harm's way for no reason other than doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
By the way, Marsden, he has a very abbreviated role in X-Men 3 because of his role in this one. So he like shows up in the beginning of X-Men 3. He's like, "Hey, what do you guys get out of here, Wolverine?" And then he dies. That's basically it.
By the way, I love this moment. Again, calling out the moments I do like.
Why does she react like that?
No, I agree. I don't like her reaction, but I love her just like, hi, like nodding across the elevator and him like, hi.
But she's so like, oh, you, hi.
I know.
See, and again, this goes to directing. Like this is about how she is told to play the role.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm like, if nothing else, we have to buy into the warmth of Lois Lane as a person, because we have to, like, fundamentally, she is the person who in any incarnation is the one who Clark, this god from across the stars, says, I want to live a normal life with this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have to buy that,
Right.
That's one thing, when we watched the Lois and Clark television pilot, it's like you get it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Why Clark would just fall head over heels for her.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, this is by the time this drops, the new Superman will be out. So can you at least briefly comment on how the relationship works in that one? I mean, did you like it? Lois and Clark?
I loved it.
Great.
I think Rachel Brosnahan is fantastic.
Okay, fantastic.
She is fantastic, yeah. And they spark together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helps that I watched that less than 24 hours after watching this.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
it, again, it is a shame, but it gets to it feels to me like I'm watching kids cosplay.
Even Ralph?
Well, because he's having to cosplay as Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent.
Sure. But I was just thinking about the kids thing. Like, does he feel a little too? I guess you did say that he doesn't feel as lived in.
And I don't know if I felt that at the time, because he's like roughly our age, probably, right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, I think almost exactly. He's I want to say 26 in this movie.
Okay, so that's just a weird thing, because Christopher Reeve was younger than that when he was Superman.
Yeah, but it's that weird phenomenon, right? Where people from the 70s, 80s, whatever, they just looked so much older.
Yeah. I don't know how kids would have perceived Brandon Routh in this.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like, when you look at him in Crisis a few years ago, it's like he had aged into it in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
See, the neckline being like right by his neck, that I've never liked that. I think Superman's neckline should be a little bit lower. I don't even like in the new movie how they give him a collar. I don't like that.
Oh yeah. I want to see it. Yeah.
It looks like a costume that you would buy from Target or something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I noticed the darker colors, and I was just like, whatever. But the S was bothering me. The size of the S.
The S should, in my opinion, it should sprawl out on his chest a little more because it makes the chest look bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, there's something about this scene. I think it's an interesting scene. And here's the thing. I think Marsden is good in it. I think when I watch Kate Bosworth, I feel like I'm watching like a fan film, like a Superman fan film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With actors who are not professionals, and they're trying. God bless them.
Interesting. Now, no, why do you say that?
I don't specifically. There's this one line where he's like, "Did you love him?" And she's like, "He's Superman. Everybody loved him." I'm like, that. I just get fan film energy from that.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I feel bad. I don't mean to pick on Kate Bosworth. I think she was done dirty by the script and the direction.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like here's my point. This is what I'm saying. I think she's speaking. This is exactly it. She's speaking with within a level of like world weariness of like experience that belies. She's a kid here.
Sure. Yeah.
So it doesn't feel authentic to me.
Yeah.
So that's why you age it up. You go with somebody in their 30s, God forbid.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This movie's kind of about like lost love, longing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling it the way I think the movie wanted me to.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. Like, I'm not seeing that on her face, and maybe her face is too young to be able to express that,
to be able to authentically embody it.
Yeah.
Like, if Chris Reeve had not had his accident, I mean, like, how different things might have been, right? But you can imagine a scenario where, say, in 2005 or 2006, he comes back and plays a slightly older Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would, like, going through these beats would have been interesting with somebody like, say, Chris Reeve at that age. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's like, well, we know him and we've been through this journey, and the loneliness he feels or whatever. It's like we feel an empathetic connection. I think this movie is essentially saying, we want you to view the story through the lens of all of that emotional connection, but it doesn't resemble that movie in any meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, when you think about it, aesthetically, the only thing that connects this movie to those other ones is the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
So we have that and the music.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes back to one of the first things I said, where if this was the second movie in a series,
right. Mm-hmm.
I would be able to buy into it more, because I need all of this that we're supposed to be feeling as a result of something that needed to be established earlier for me.
Yeah.
Seeing any sort of connection between Clark and Lois.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And then I would be able to clock or buy into the sadness of this one, because I already got to experience that with them.
100%. Yeah.
This is one of the few moments I remembered also.
Yeah, this is a big trailer moment when we get like the bullet in the eye.
Doesn't this look very Wachowski-like?
Very much so.
Like the cops in their sort of generic looking outfits. They look very like Matrix-like.
You give me your Juris my diction crap.
Exactly. Yes. I feel like this resembles that, and we're not far off from
I don't doubt that it was inspired by that. The other thing to think about is that this movie came out relatively close to 9/11.
Yeah, that's right.
And one wonders, I remember, in fact, where Bryan Singer talked about, he thought about having a shot where Superman is at ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness they didn't put that in.
Yeah, sort of like if I hadn't left, maybe I could have stopped this. I mean, that's just gross on so many levels.
It's so many levels, exactly.
To exploit a real life tragedy like that.
That's exactly it. But one presumes that maybe that's part of the reason you bake in this 5-year time that he's gone, because at least metatextually you're able to be like, oh, like that's why Superman didn't stop 9/11 and his Earth,
Sure, yeah, because it's closer, in time in our mind.
Like, it's weird to think about, right? Because at this point 9/11 is just history.
Mm-hmm.
But at this time, it still informed so much of our day-to-day discourse,
Yeah.
How we plugged into media and all, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I remember there was a time, well, this is the thing, right? I mean, this was a big trailer moment.
It's the trailer shot.
The bullet being
it's
shot
pretty
at.
Cool. It's pretty cool shot. Although I would offer, I don't know if it's as impressive, given that it comes right after him, taking like 500 bullets in his chest.
I know, from like a minigun, yeah. But it's a good trailer moment.
That guy, by the way, because they had plans to make a sequel, and Bryan Singer had said that the sequel would have revealed that guy who makes that shot, that's John Corbin, who is the Superman villain Metallo.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sequel that, of course, not to be, but
yeah.
Anyway, you were saying, sorry.
Well, no, just about the 9/11 thing. I remember when it was closer, in years to that, I remember thinking, how would you make a time travel movie now? Because you just have it on your mind, like, well, you've got to go warn everybody about it. But now I think enough time has passed that wouldn't be one of the first thoughts in your mind. Like you said, it's become a part of history.
Yeah. So weird, right? Like,
time. This whole thing with Parker Posey and
these two guys are the writers, by the way.
Right.
They wrote X2 also, so they went over. They just jumped over with him.
Damn, they look very young.
They really do.
So, Parker Posey, this whole thing, just the way that it's shot and the way that it's cut, I was like, this is very kinetic, but also unnerving in a good way. Like, I mean, and as a compliment, like the way
it adds some energy.
Lots of energy, and it makes me uncomfortable. Like, she really does feel, I complain a lot, at least, about like the shaky camera to try to manipulate you into thinking something crazy is happening. But this is just a really well captured feeling of being out of control. I don't know. I was really impressed with it. And then it's great. Then you have the way that they reveal that she's being carried away, right? Where you see, looks like she's about to hit something, and then just slowly she lifts into the air through the windshield. It's great.
See, this is the type of sequence. Now we get it that all of this was a distraction, right? So that Lex can lift the kryptonite. I watched this though, and I'm like, why not do it in the daytime? Right? Like, most of this movie does not exist in daytime, it feels like. Like, I feel like it's an odd choice. I don't know. It does. I guess it doesn't matter that much, but to me, this, look at that cell phone, by the way.
I know.
It just adds to this muddy visual scheme,
That's a really interesting point. I mean, yeah, it might feel more Superman-esque seeing him do these fantastic things under a bright blue sky. But this feels kind of Singer-y, doesn't it? I mean, like, you think of X-Men, I think of kind of like, I don't know, a lot of nightscapes and that kind of cinematography.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's really what this movie drives home, is that not every director is suited to every subject matter, clearly.
Yeah.
And again, the thinking at the time, oh, well, he did this comic book thing, he'll be great with that comic book thing. And oddly enough, and that was the same thing that informed Tim Burton being hired to do the Superman movie in the mid to late 90s.
Right.
And I remember at the time, I was like, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
And that's worth recognizing. I mean, this movie arrived after almost 15 years of progress of trying to get a movie made. It's worth remembering, as late as 92, Christopher Reeve was at least considering coming back.
Wow. And so the last one before that was 87?
Yeah, so the Salkinds owned the Superman rights.
Mm-hmm.
They licensed those rights to Golan Globus. They made Superman 4, which was a disaster. And then after that, the rights ended up coming back to the Salkinds. And I remember in the early 90s, they were planning to make, it was going to be called Superman the New Movie.
Really? Literally?
Yeah. So like we had Superman the movie, this is going to be Superman the New Movie.
Okay.
And instead of Superman 5. And their plan was to basically get rid of everybody but bring back Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
And Cary Bates was a comic book writer. He had written a script. Brainiac was going to be the villain, and Christopher Reeve had talked about it. He said, it's something I'm considering. You really, if you're going to come back, it has to be really worth it after the disappointment of the last one. So it was he had not ruled it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, obviously he had his accident. But in the interim, Warner Brothers had reacquired the Superman rights.
Okay.
And that's why. So a couple things. There was the Superboy television series that was produced by the Salkinds.
Mm-hmm.
And Warner Brothers had by then reacquired the rights, and they were like, well, this show needs to end because it wasn't produced by them. And that's what led to Lois and Clark. But even then, they were in the process of developing the Superman. I think it started as Superman Lives. It was adapted from the Death of Superman thing, and that's what Tim Burton eventually got involved in.
Okay.
Christopher Reeve's accident was in 2005. So by that time, I think it was no longer on the table for him to come back.
Right. Wow. 2005, huh?
Yeah. 90. Did I say 2005? Sorry, 95.
Oh, 95. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
95 to, when did he, 2004 he died.
I see.
So he lived with that condition for 9 years. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy,
What was that documentary? We should recommend that.
Yeah, Superman.
Oh,
Super
so
slash man.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, very good. By the way, these pictures that Perry's upset about, where he's like, boy with a cell phone took these pictures and they're better than the ones you're taking, Jimmy. And there are these like HD beautiful photographs that this kid took with like a phone with like a potato camera, so. I looked it up out of curiosity. So if this was June 2006 when this came out, the iPhone came out in June 2007.
Okay.
So it's pretty close.
Wow. Yeah, the Tim Burton film, I don't know if you remember, like that fell apart fairly late in the process.
Yeah, it was like, pretty close to shooting, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And the plan had been like Michael Keaton was going to cameo as Batman. Like there's a lot of ambitions. And I think we've talked about this before. At this point with 20, almost 30 years of hindsight, I'm like, I kind of wish that movie existed just so that I could see it. I
know. Same. I mean, would it have been the right thing? Like, who knows? But I want to see it.
I remember for sure at the time being like, oh, please God, this sounds awful.
Sure. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage as Superman didn't sound like a great idea to me.
Right.
But even back then, and before Burton got involved, as you mentioned, Kevin Smith had written the script. And I remember him John Peters was the producer, who was a producer of this too, by the way, was like, oh, we gotta, like, we don't want him wearing the same old costume. It's got to look like 90s style.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Smith's like, what does that mean? So literally in the script, it's like the first appearance of Superman. It's like Superman appears 90s style.
Oh man.
But that fell apart in the late 90s. And then the next iteration was called Superman Flyby.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams,
And
right?
J.J. Abrams wrote the script for it. Originally, it was going to be Brett Ratner. So it's just all kinds of sex predators.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Brett Ratner was going to direct that, and then he dropped out.
And that was that story was a little out there, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest change in that is that Krypton didn't explode.
Right.
It's just like there's a civil war. Kal-El is like a Kryptonian prince.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds terrible to me. Also,
yeah. Right. So like he gets sent to Earth, and then one of the villains from his planet comes over or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
and like Lex Luthor is a Kryptonian in that script.
It's just one of those things where everybody feels like they need to like subvert. And it's like sometimes, no, we want to see we're here for the thing.
Just give us the thing, yeah.
Yeah, just give us the thing.
And that one fell apart, by the way, because Harry Knowles, of all people, just tore it to shreds.
Really? Oh.
And back when that guy had an inordinate amount of sway in Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, that was an era.
It was.
Yeah.
But Ratner left, and then McG was going to direct. It was going to be that.
All these names,
right?
It's such of a moment.
Such a moment. This is like, it's really. I think McG wanted, Brett Ratner wanted Matt Bomer to play Superman.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I think McG wanted Henry Cavill.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Cavill auditioned for that.
Yeah.
He got his turn in the barrel though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the under Brett Ratner's moment. There's people they wanted to cast: Josh Hartnett, Paul Walker, Brendan Fraser, Ashton Kutcher. Like this is such a time capsule, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
Wow.
Ashton Kutcher. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but in the lead up to Batman Begins, they were going to do Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, I have that script. I've never read it though.
Oh, how funny. Yeah. Like Andrew Kevin Walker, I think, wrote it.
Yeah.
And that one, I think they were talking about Josh Hartnett playing Superman. I think Christian Bale even was going to be Batman.
Wow, really?
Or like was linked to it. Yeah. Wolfgang Peterson was going to direct that.
Right.
But he did Troy instead.
Okay.
It's weird how these things happen, right? Certain things have to happen the way they happen.
I was going to bring that up because you mentioned that a lot with if we don't do Batman and Robin.
Yep.
And the failure of that and the rethink that had to happen at Warner Brothers, we don't get Batman Begins.
That's right.
So it makes me wonder if we had gotten that Tim Burton Superman movie, maybe it would have worked in some interesting way. Maybe it wouldn't have. Where would it have directed us next?
Right. I think that's sort of that sums up the dilemma that Warner Brothers has had with Superman, much more so than with Batman. Because I think Batman, for whatever reason, is much more of an evergreen character.
Yeah.
I think Superman is an evergreen also, but I feel like there's just something about having to continually remind people that Superman is relevant.
Yeah, he gets overthought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And
this is beautiful, by the way. I just want to call that out, that visual of him watching her go up the elevator.
Yeah, him being a creepy stalker weirdo.
Well, I don't know. At this moment, I thought it was kind of sweet.
The way it's visualized is effective, yeah.
Yeah.
See, even this right here where she's smoking, I don't know, there's just something about it. It just feels like a kid in a school project.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but right, like
no, I do understand.
You know,
yeah. You know, but, I kind of wonder. No, go ahead. No, sorry. Get back to what you were saying.
Just to button that thought, I think they with Batman, it's just easier to be like, here's another Batman mystery, and I just kind of wish they would do that with Superman. I think that's what James Gunn is hoping to do, where it's just, here's another Superman. It was just go. I think that there is they do try too hard sometimes.
Yeah, and maybe with Batman also, there's kind of a general tone you can anticipate, and maybe the style will be tweaked a little bit, but the tone, you kind of know what you're walking into with a Batman movie. But with Superman, everybody has an opinion.
I think just to push back on that a little bit, I think with Batman, people are willing. It's more elastic. There's more ability to encompass more tones.
Sure.
Right. So in other words, you can go from Batman Forever
to
10 years later, Batman Begins, and still have it be Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think with Superman, if you color too far outside the lines this way or that, the audience will reflexively push back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to some extent, that's what we saw in the aftermath of Man of Steel. Right. Where there was some folks who just would not accept that depiction of Superman. I didn't have a problem with it. I know you didn't.
No, I really like that movie.
You know, but look, let's be real. If everything was peaches and sunshine, we'd be talking about Man of Steel 5 right now, you know?
Right.
Instead of the umpteenth iteration.
I wish we had gotten at least one more.
You're not kidding?
Yeah. See, but even this, I mean, I know we're not huge fans of this sort of muddy look. I almost blame the cameras more than I personally.
No, I think you're right.
The palette, but I would be okay with another story in this take, tone, whatever you want to call it. I just don't like the story. I don't like the characterizations. That's my problem. If there had been a better story in this aesthetic, I'd be okay with it.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Just this sort of romantic, I don't know, visual style or something. That's kind of interesting for like a movie or two. But I just, like you've been saying.
This right here, real quick. She's like, "Oh, Clark said da da da," and he's like, "Clark, who's that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
I know. I thought that too.
And she's like, "Oh, he's just some guy I work with." Ugh.
Yeah,
it just irks me, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because then it maybe makes you think of, sometimes you read about a filmmaker that comes in that thinks or says, well, I wasn't really a fan of material, so I was like, what can I bring to this?
Right.
But you're saying that he came in as a big fan of Superman, so it's interesting how off.
Yeah, and my question is, a fan of what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what was it that supposedly spoke to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, just to go back to what I was saying before, if you watch Batman Begins and Chris Nolan tells you, hey, you know, I'm a big fan of Dawn or Superman, I'd be like, oh, right on, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't see it here.
Yeah.
I see the most superficial elements.
Right.
I think fundamentally what I don't get a sense of in this film is, okay, he's back and he's helping, but he enjoys helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's like a burden. He never smiles. That's the other thing, right? People always, remember Man of Steel? Why doesn't he smile? I'm like, bro does not smile in this movie.
Yeah.
Except for a few bits here and there. You know, but literally, you know, there's a bit, he's like, you say the world doesn't need a savior. And every minute I hear people calling out for one or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. Like,
you know, it's funny. I did, that bumped me also because I understand what he's saying, but maybe it's the delivery or something. It doesn't feel very,
well, it makes it seem like a burden.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, and maybe this is just me. Look, I'm bringing my own biases, but you know, I've got several decades of Superman fandom, and I think the most aspirational aspect of Superman is that he enjoys helping people.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can do this, and that what I can do is help.
Right.
You know, Christopher Reeve said this, right? What makes him a hero is that he has all this power, but he has the decency to use it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so this sense of like, oh, here I go helping this, you know, oh, let me rescue this woman. Like, dude, it's like, don't do us any favors, man.
Right. Yeah. There's just, even watching these scenes, which by the way are beautiful.
Yeah.
I think this is really beautiful. Him them, Superman and Lois flying together here over the city. Although I did wonder why he took that detour to her house. I was like, he like left the city to swing by her house, and she's like,
just to specifically be like, hey, that's where you live.
Yeah, but then they go back. I don't know. It just felt weird to me.
That's where you live with the man that you're not with right now.
Right. But yeah, there's just a real wistfulness. I mean, just looking at this with the sound off, it's just making me, I don't know. I want to feel a little, you said it's humorless, and there's, no jubilance, and there's no joy, and there's no, but it is beautiful. I mean, this is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you need to balance the quiet moments with some big action beats.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is conspicuously devoid of big action beats.
Yeah.
And this is where I say, like, Man of Steel, like, in my opinion, overcorrected a little too far in the other direction. Where you just have Super Destructo, 9/11 times 3.
Right.
And it's like, can we find a happy medium here, please?
I know. I remember that's my one note. Like, I would love to watch a fan cut version of that movie that scales back a bit in the third act, because it goes on like a little too long.
Yeah, my recollection from our conversation when we watched it is like, maybe trim the Smallville action scene.
Mm-hmm.
A little sooner, and then dial down by like 10%, Act 3, and I think they're still trying to lick that, I think even the new film, without getting into it, I think gets a little too much for me personally,
Interesting.
I think that when we think about it, the third act of Superman 78 is the San Andreas fault, which was fairly like that was large scale back then,
right?
But it feels sedate,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
compared to what we can do now. And yet, in my opinion, when you watch that movie, you still feel it. You've all the stuff where he's going from this place to this, trying to fix this, the rescue people from the dam and fix the fault, and all of that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the third act of this movie is just nonsense to me,
Yeah.
There are no stakes, and it's a weird one.
Yeah. And it just the moment we just saw where she's come back from flying with Superman, and then her hair's all mussed up, and she's confronting James Marsden's character, and it kind of has like a sexual sort of allusion to it. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to have to wrestle with these feelings watching this movie and sort of feeling bad for the Marsden character. And
that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, what does the movie want me to feel?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because on the one hand, you say, well, we like Lois.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we'd want her to be with a good guy.
Yeah.
So you don't want to paint him as being just a total jerk,
Mm-hmm. But I'm not getting any sense of what they had before.
Right.
So I'm not sensing like, oh, this feels right with them back together.
Yes, exactly.
That's missing for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, odd choices.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Someone's been in my bed.
Somebody's been sleeping in my bed, and they're still here.
Yeah.
I'm like, Superman, just put a lock on your shit, man.
I know. It feels like, that should be a better security system.
This is a recurring problem because, of course, in Superman 2,
mm-hmm.
Lex gets into the fortress.
Yep.
I think the Krypton OS isn't great, where Jor-El's like, hey, my son.
Yeah, I know.
And Lex is like, hey, Dad.
Right. Tell me everything.
Give me all your passwords.
Exactly. That's really funny. Wait, now something I read, tell me if this is true. Brandon Routh auditioned for Smallville?
That sounds familiar. That sounds right.
That's interesting. It's funny how it's just some people have the Superman look. So even Henry Cavill being in conversation this early, and it's like they're just always going to be on the short list.
I guess it's a little bit like Bond, right? In that regard, like you want if you're a male between this age and this age, and you have certain characteristics, you'll probably be on that list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, certainly Henry Cavill. I've said it before. I mean, that man was chiseled from granite to play Superman.
Yeah.
He was put on this earth to play Superman at least once. I'm glad he got that chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
And to your point, I wish he'd gotten a few more chances.
Yeah. Same.
So Lois is just like a bad parent, right?
This is crazy. Yeah.
She's like, hey, I'm going to wander onto this strange boat. Come on, son.
Yeah. In pursuit of something that's kind of hinky. But like, yeah, I have my son. I'll just bring him along. I do. This is kind of funny. The kid is like, "Are we trespassing?" Doesn't she say like, "No"? Well, yes. But I mean, yeah, I would never do this by myself.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a good moment there, though, when she's surprised. Both of them, her and Lex, are surprised to see one another.
Well, I love that the discovery of the wigs is to me, it's like in Star Trek II, Chekhov sees the Botany Bay. We have to get out of here,
Right.
And it's that equivalent of just like wigs. Wigs.
Right.
Like other people wear wigs.
Right.
Let's talk about Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
Yes, please.
I feel like this is something that works great in concept.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly back then, pre like everything, pre me gesturing all of this,
Right.
You're like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense. And yet he doesn't make much of a mark in this movie, in my opinion.
Isn't that strange? Because he is hamming it as much as this movie hams.
Yes.
Right? So why do you think that is? He's just,
I don't know. Just tonally, I have a hard time buying him as the Gene Hackman Lex.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that might factor in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just something sort of, well, I mean, Gene Hackman's Gene Hackman.
But, I mean, certainly, Kevin Spacey, mid-2000s, was at least as well regarded.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right? This was his moment.
Right? I mean, he had won 2 Oscars by this point.
Yeah. I would wager in this moment, a lot of people would say he's one of their favorite actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is another scene. One of the few things I remembered with her and the boy and the piano.
Yeah. Oh, when he just straight up murders that guy?
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like everyone is playing this movie very straight and serious.
Right.
And he's occasionally hamming it up. Right?
Yes, he is.
I mean, in a very, very muted way.
Right. he's muted ham.
Yeah. But also, Kevin Spacey is kind of a hammy actor. Sure. I even remember when American Beauty came out and everybody was like falling all over him for that. I was like, yes, he is doing something interesting, but he also he feels otherworldly a little bit in the way that he's talking to people. Like, I hate my job, honey. Like he's always been a little over the top. But I think at the time people were like, yeah, he's interesting.
What's funny about American Beauty? I've only seen that movie one time.
Really?
I've only seen it the one time. And I remember enjoying it. I liked it. I watched it opening night. I watched it at the Cantera with Sean. Mm-hmm. And it's just funny how in retrospect I'm just like, ew. Like well, just so much ew, Yeah,
there's a lot of ew in that movie. I mean, I know that's kind of the point, but also at the same time, you could argue that maybe the movie doesn't even recognize it by the end. Like it presents a lot of ew, but it doesn't reckon with it. It's just sort of like, oh, well, everybody's just trying their best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched it a couple of years ago.
Oh, well, I'm curious. I mean, did it hold up for you?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, okay. I think it'd probably be easy to just say no, but there's a lot of, interesting filmmaking and performances and weird ideas. And that's kind of my take is it presents a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
and I think it's meant to be like, yeah, this isn't okay along the way, but by the end of it, it just kind of forgives everybody.
Right.
And it's it's like, well, because I mean, spoiler, Kevin Spacey's character dies, and it's like, well, isn't that just kind of sad? He was just trying his best, and this is just minutes after he almost had sex with this underage girl,
but he didn't. Because he's a good guy.
He's trying his best.
He's been fantasizing about her the whole movie, and
exactly
the audience is made complicit in that. By the way,
yeah. So it's messy, but I can't say it isn't interesting.
Okay, that's Sam Mendes, right? It is
Sam Mendes. Yeah, I think that was his first theatrical movie because he was a theater director.
And Alan Ball wrote the.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that movie was a big moment.
Yeah. When it came out, it was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lex's plan is goddamn idiotic, right?
That was the other thing, again, that I remember, where it was like, I'm going to create all this land for real estate, and then he creates like this immediate apocalypse landscape.
Makes this is for anybody who looked at Lex's plan in the first film and was like, I don't know, man, sinking California into the ocean so you have more beachfront. It's like, oh, hold my beer.
Right. He's gonna create a new continent that's gonna overtake North America.
Like you almost wish, like, because he's so like, and this is what we're gonna do, and you just want Lois to be like, that's idiotic.
Yes. Oh, that would have been, yeah.
You are a stupid person, like.
Actually, I would have loved that.
That would almost make more sense,
Yeah. See this stuff he's doing here. It feels like he's like, no, but I'm in a superhero movie. Don't I get to do this a little bit?
But it's so off kilter because it's just sprinkled in these odd places.
Totally.
He's like, you're not getting the big picture or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and then you got poor Parker Posey over here. It was this brilliant, interesting, idiosyncratic actress, and then she's just sitting there looking gross for the rest of the movie.
Like, am I wrong? Cast her as Lois, you're gonna get something interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So this here, where he's got this little cylinder made of kryptonite, and he like puts it towards the kid, and the kid starts getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved like 4 more minutes of him just going close, far, close, far. I would.
That's really funny. I do like this though. I mean, I'm just looking at his realization reactions, but the kid. Am I wrong? Is the kid kind of underplaying it a little bit here? Not that it's the kid's fault, but
like that he's getting sick with the kryptonite.
Yeah, I got what was happening, but it's not like he's slumping or any different than he was.
Again, I think it would be hilarious if he's very obviously getting sick and then you move it away and he's obviously very happy and jovial. And just keep going back and forth like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Exactly. I was gonna say like a cartoon, like, yeah, like just back and forth. That would have been hilarious.
Now the thing about this, right? So that's the first inclination. Oh, who's that boy's father?
Mm-hmm.
How do you just drop in? Oh, by the way, Superman didn't pull out in time, and then he left Earth. Like how do you make Superman a deadbeat dad?
I know.
Like my point is, none of this makes sense to me because like I don't know. That's a big deal. If Superman knocked up Lois Lane, you have fundamentally altered the trajectory of these characters.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there aren't stories to do that. There's one of my favorite Supermans ever is Superman and Lois, which is him as a parent to 2 teenagers.
Sure.
And it is fan-freaking-tastic.
I got to watch that. I know you've...
at this moment, honestly, I've said this before, at this moment, Tyler Hoechlin is second only to Christopher Reeve for me.
Wow.
Yeah. It's terrific. So I'm not saying there aren't stories to tell, but I'm saying that's such. You have to get into that. You have to be like, when did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
How did this?
Yeah, it's also, muted, and the melancholy keeps coming to my mind. Just their reactions to this, even at the end when he's watching the kids sleep. That's a big damn deal.
Yeah.
And like, where do we go from here? What does this mean? And he and Lois need to talk, but it's just so, oh, that's my child, I guess. And then he just flies away. It's just, I don't know. Yeah.
So weird, right?
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, well, Singer co-wrote this. He directed it. It just feels like a fundamental, I don't know, wrong-headed approach to all this.
Yeah, well, especially as we barrel towards the third act. And again, it's like we've still got an hour left.
Dude, I literally actually just tapped my iPad and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No, sorry.
The pacing is interminable.
I mean, we're watching it right now. This really slow paced, execution of this moment. Now, I will say though, this is one of the moments that I remembered, which is this guy is creepy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, forget the tattoo, which I looked up. I guess that's what John Wayne Gacy's clown makeup looked like.
Oh, okay. Good times.
Yeah, that's great. The child killer. So that's tattooed on the back of his skull. But like, I like this moment actually on paper. This is kind of interesting, right? Like this guard playing piano with the boy. But it's just like he's interminable. Like just the execution, the pacing of it is just so indulgent.
It's indulgent, and that makes me believe that Singer had final edit.
Yeah,
which is I've said this before. Final cut is often held up as like a thing, like these directors don't even get final cut, and I'm like most directors shouldn't have final cut.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, but not every director has earned it or uses it well.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to have someone pushing you.
Well, I've said before, you look at like Steven Spielberg obviously has final edit.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing you'll say about Steven Spielberg is he cuts his movie such that it'll play to the widest audience.
And he has a longtime editor.
Yeah.
That I'm sure they have a very close, honest, forthright relationship,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this is edited by John Ottman, by the way, who did the score.
Isn't that fascinating? I remember that.
Yeah.
As a fact from back in the day, the composer and the editor.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, that's like real quick, Ben Burtt, right? He edited the Star Wars prequels, and he's the sound designer.
That's interesting. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. Oh. He's in that. If you watch that, I forget what it's called. The Saga Begins.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. You see Bert at an Avid cutting.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's back when nonlinear was just starting.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
So this is the other thing that really jumped out at me. There's a lot of blue screen stuff.
Yeah.
Or green screen stuff. And that distracts me more so than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's because of shooting on video and it's not up to snuff yet, We
haven't really commented on it, but there's a bit of that. I remember when The Matrix, the second one, came out, there was a big deal made out of creating a full body digital stunt double.
Yep, that's right.
So you had all the Smiths that Neo's fighting, and some of the shots you can tell it looks like stuntmen and it looks really great. And then some of it looks like this like PlayStation 3 graphic of a human being.
Right.
And, early days, and they've come a long way with that. There was something recently that I don't remember what it was, but they said like, oh yeah, this guy, when he falls here, that's a digital stunt double. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. They did it. They cracked it. Like, I can't tell anymore. But in this one, it feels like a lot of digital body doubling for Superman when he's kind of
unnecessarily.
Yes. When he's in the air, it didn't feel necessary. And it looks kind of rubbery and weird.
Just put Brandon Routh on wires. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. I like this scene in concept. I like the whole, it's not just like the henchman's kind of inherently interesting because he's going to sit next to the kid at the piano and play a song. And that gives an opening for Lois to send out their coordinates.
Right.
I mean, you have to squint to not think about the whole internet connection noise that's happening that he doesn't hear, 10 feet away. Exactly. Yeah.
See, so this sequence, I think it makes me uncomfortable
Definitely. He's going to murder this kid's mother in front of him.
Right. So you get it. It has to make you uncomfortable because Jason has to be seeing something so scary that it would push him into this, like his powers activate.
Mm-hmm.
So you get it. But again, this goes to what we were talking about earlier. It's like all these plot points that are all kind of not nurtured properly. If Superman has a son, that's your story.
Yeah.
Totally. That's not we don't address it at all.
Yeah.
What are his powers?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I remember Bryan Singer gave some interview where he was like, for the next one, we're gonna Wrath of Khan it, and I guess that meant going darker, maybe putting the kid in danger or something. And I'm like, well, I don't want to see that either.
I know. I just want to see Superman saving people.
Can we just do that? Can we just? And here's the funny thing: I read that he had offered the role of General Zod to Jude Law.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Jude Law either said no, it wasn't available, and so they got rid of the character. I'm like, can we please acknowledge that Superman has other villains than these two guys?
Sure. That's a good point. And I got to say, as someone who hasn't really read the comics, other than a handful you've given me, yeah, I mean, I think it's affected me in that when you said that about Zod, I'm like, oh, that'd be great. Because that's what I know.
Yeah.
And Superman hasn't really been pushed villain-wise in the movies. And so I when the James Gunn trailers were coming out and we're seeing it stacked with all these comic book looking people, I remember talking to friends that don't really read the comics, watch the movies, that were thinking like, I don't know, this looks weird.
Sure. Yeah.
And I remember wanting to ask you then, well, does it? Or is this what you know?
It's more reflective of a comic book universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's good to finally push that, so we are expanding the sandbox for Superman on screen.
Yeah, well, and what you realize is that was the great service that the Adam West Batman show did, was it put most of his villains into the public eye and sort of nestled them in the consciousness, right? So, above and beyond Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler, you got Mr. Freeze and Egghead and whoever else, right?
Mad
Hatter and and stuff, right? And then the animated show obviously was able to darken those characters, but Superman didn't really have that, right? Because in the 1950s show, they didn't even have Lex Luthor in the 1950s show. It was just guys in suits,
the gangsters and thieves.
They would unload their clip on Superman and then throw their gun at him. It's every episode just about this sequence. I like the way they bring in the John Williams music. Again, every time that music comes in, your heart races a little bit.
Yeah.
Now this, I'm wondering, like, did he just fly through the top of the elevator?
I'm glad. I thought that too. I mean, I had to make it up in my head. I was like, okay, I guess he pushed open the escape, hatch at the top.
I'm trying to nitpick, but
no,
See, the stuff with him flying all looks pretty good. I think it still holds up.
Same. So,
if your technology is such where you can make that look convincing, why swap in Uncanny Valley Superman?
Yeah.
Right at key moments. And this is also random. This might be just me being nitpicky, but I don't like how overly coiffed the spit curl is.
That's funny. That stood out to me too. But I didn't think about it till the last scene. I think it's like a big chunk.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
No, but when you look at Superman, okay, so obviously there's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor's the big one, and General Zod, thanks to the movies, I would say really is big. But he's got. Well, I mentioned there's Metallo, there's Brainiac, there's Parasite, there's a lot, Toyman. I'm just thinking of villains from the 90s animated series. Darkseid, for goodness sake, like there's an opportunity. Now his rogues gallery is not as expansive or as well known as Batman's, but like let's push the boundaries a little bit. I think that one thing I liked about Lois and Clark during its first season is that Lex Luthor was in just about every episode, but he was the guy behind the scenes.
Sure.
You know, he was the guy pulling the strings, but there was like some physical threat that Superman had to overcome. You know,
right. That is kind of ironic, isn't it, for a series where the character can fly and has heat vision and can freeze things with his breath, that the movies have stayed relatively grounded otherwise. We don't see him fighting aliens very well. I mean, like Zod and everything, but they look humanoid.
Yeah. I wonder if it goes to sort of like people are willing to suspend their disbelief only so far.
Sure.
So it's like, you tell us that this guy is an alien and he's got these powers, we'll go with you there. But anything beyond that, it becomes a little hard to swallow.
Right.
Like, people have a limit, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking, like, is Metropolis like just screwed? Like, all its underground infrastructure and subway systems, and after this whole shockwave that ripples through the city.
Yeah. So this sequence is... I like the little bits that we see. I like the thing where he's Superman is flying and he turns upside down and he shoots incinerates the glass, you know?
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. But this whole bit, it feels like a very this bit right here. I like this.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Cool use of his heat vision.
It is. Yeah, it's cool. But I don't know. There's just something like this stuff doesn't really land for me the way the earthquake scene in the '78 movie does.
I get that. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. There's something about the pacing. There isn't a lot of music that's really highlighting the action. You know.
Yeah, I do love the way this movie looks objectively.
Yeah.
I think it's beautifully shot, even the stuff we're looking at now. But yeah, like I said, I think it's almost a little too in love with itself, in love with its look, instead of doing what will bring us into the action, into the story. It's just concerning itself with beautiful photography.
Yeah.
And it's maybe creating a little bit of a distance.
So I just watched X2 in the last 2 weeks, right? And so it's very fresh. And one thing I will say about that movie, I mean, it moves.
Yeah.
And the emotional beats hit, but the action beats pull you in, and it builds to a dramatic crescendo. I think it's a remarkably effective movie. In this particular genre. I think it's one of the better examples. And I think that's why there was such excitement about Bryan Singer. Well, if he can do for Superman what he did for the X-Men, then move aside,
Yeah.
And so that like this piece right here, it's weirdly devoid of drama as the Daily Planet globe is about to fall.
But it's beautiful.
It's beautifully shot, but this should be... we should be feeling this more,
That's what I don't know if I'm saying it well enough, but I think that's just it. Like, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I think it's like focusing on its gorgeousness more than what it needs to make us actually feel or experience.
Yeah.
Because these are gorgeous shots. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, that thing almost crushed everybody, but I'm more focused on how beautiful this shot is.
Yeah.
Atlas, right? Got the globe on his back. I did think what a terrible design that thing is on the top of that building.
the globe, you mean?
Yeah, they did not think that through. But I love it. It's pretty cool. It coming off its hinges and crushing that water tower, and then the water beginning to splash down on Perry, like making him look up. It's...
all of that tracks.
It tracks.
And I think in a design sense, I mean, there's something that the Art Deco approach to the inside of the Daily Planet and the whole, the globe and stuff, that all works. I think for me, I feel slightly at arm's length with this incarnation of Metropolis, whereas the Richard Donner's approach, right, verisimilitude, I think that gave a liveliness to Metropolis in those original films.
I agree, because it feels more like a painting than a lived-in place.
Yeah, and just to be clear, why am I hitting Richard Donner so hard? It's because Bryan Singer has invited that comparison.
Right.
So I'm like, well, if you want to continue that, then you have to pick up on his aesthetic approach.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep, totally.
Like they shot this in Sydney, I think, and
which was the style at the time.
Which was the style at the time. But with the Matrix, it works, right? Because it's meant to be like slightly unreal,
Right.
And so there's something about saying this is an American city, but us being like, well, it doesn't feel like an American city.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Especially with Matrix, because it's all Chicago streets and stuff, right?
Right. I was reading about how this came out in IMAX, and there was 4 scenes that were converted into 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And what was funny about that, I mean, that was just the beginning, right? And we would have the whole Avatar, and then every movie was being converted into 3D. I thought this was kind of early for that thing. I didn't realize it was happening.
Yeah,
I associate it with 2009,
the late 2000s.
Yeah, but I was reading the way that they let you know to put on your 3D glasses, because it wasn't the whole film, was there'd be an icon of Clark Kent's glasses flashing in green at the bottom of the screen, like, put on your glasses, folks. I just thought that was kind of a almost cute, charming little artifact.
Yeah, that's a different time.
A different time. I don't remember that, though. Did you just see this in 3D? Do you remember that?
I don't believe I saw this in 3D.
Yeah.
I what's funny is I remember before this came out, Warner Brothers Home Video had released this cavalcade of Superman stuff on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So like Lois and Clark season whatever, the George Reeves show season whatever, the Superboy show finally came out on DVD, like all the Superman the animated series, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff came out on DVD, and I got all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. Okay. And each of them came with a free ticket to see Superman Returns.
Oh.
So I'm like, all right, well, this is fantastic, because I'm going to be watching the shit out of this movie. I'm gonna be going every night for a week.
Yeah.
And then I watched it opening night, me and Amina, and it ended, and I was like, well, okay then. And all those tickets went to waste.
I'm trying to think of like the funny thing you would do with the extras. I mean, obviously throwing them over your shoulder is like the laziest one, but like setting them ablaze in like a burning trash barrel or something, and walking away with your leather jacket collar popped up.
But that's the thing. I didn't even feel that level of disconnect from this movie. Or I didn't walk out of the theater so dissatisfied.
Okay. Yeah. You just saying that now makes me wonder. Yeah. I said how we felt at the end of Crystal Skull. What was your feeling walking out of the theater?
I was like, I was basically like, oh, okay,
interesting.
Yeah, and kind of like, okay, okay, I guess that's what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to go back and read my review. My review at the time was generally positive,
mm-hmm.
and it was positive in the context of, okay, we've got like a foundation here, now let's build on it.
Right.
And I remember very distinctly talking about the plane crash sequence and singling that out. And I said, like, I drew that 9/11 connection. I was like, in the fantasy of the world of the movies, we have Superman who's able to catch a falling plane,
mm-hmm.
Before it crashes. And it spoke to that moment,
Yeah.
But I remember being like, okay, kind of let's see what they do in the next one.
Sure.
And so who knows, right? Had they made, I mean, their intention was to make a sequel, and based on the box office, it wasn't unwarranted to think that there was an audience for it. I think what ended up kiboshing those plans was Bryan Singer kept getting busy with shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally it just, all the actors' contracts sunsetted,
Yeah, maybe you imagine with the sort of middling response.
Yeah.
He lost some enthusiasm.
Lost the enthusiasm. I would imagine. I mean, he said later, I think this was after he made Jack the Giant Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if I had to do it again, I'd just reboot it. I wouldn't have cast Brandon Routh. Something like that. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Kind of a dick.
Yeah, dick move.
I think he even said he would have cast Nicholas Hoult in the lead role, as I recall. Which is ironic because now here he is,
Yeah.
in a lead role, if not the lead.
You've been pretty young then.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, when was that? Like 2010 or something?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know how old he is. So.
Nicholas Hoult, I mean, he's got to be in his 30s now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this worldwide, it made just under 400 million.
Yeah.
About 200 million in the US. So,
yeah.
I think it was the 9th highest grossing movie of 2006. So it's in there, but certainly not what they would expect.
Well, my recollection is that I think a week later, Pirates of the Caribbean 2 came out and just clobbered it.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, I remember, now that I think about it, I visited Chicago the week. So I watched this, and then that next week, Am and I went to Chicago, and we were at Oberweis, the dairy, and this was across the street from this was on Army Trail, so like near Stratford Square. And we're sitting there eating ice cream, and a whole bunch of kids, like teenagers, come in all dressed like pirates, and they just got out of the Pirates of the Caribbean screening.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit! Like that was the first time I realized, like, oh, this is a thing. Like pirates.
Yeah, that was a moment. Those movies were huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now this feels like I just checked. There's about, with credits, 40 minutes left.
Yep.
This should be 20 minutes left.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. This is like your third act here.
Now, logistically, here's the problem. So this is Lex Luthor's big landmass that he's going to have people fighting to live on?
Yes.
Is Lex Luthor an idiot?
See, that's my memory when I think of this movie, is he had this plan to create new land, but it looked like a hellscape.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling ridiculous. So I was kind of eager in rewatching this to see if there was some sort of explanation or, that was dealt with. But there isn't. Like, you could even imagine him being like, no, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like he realizes he had a plan, but he didn't think it through entirely, and it's not going to work. You could do that right now. He still seems so confident in this moment. Why not have him be furious that it's not working the way he thought it would, and then he stabs Superman with the kryptonite, and like, why is he still so okay with what he's created?
Or even like, don't even have that be the plan. Just have this be his thing to this is his final revenge against Superman.
Like luring him to this landmass that's poisonous to him?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, why have, I mean, he's made multiple PowerPoints or whatever with his island growing or whatever, right? I'm like he obviously has bought into that. I'm like, but that's stupid.
Yeah.
So just have this be your trap for Superman.
Sure. Yeah. That's funny too, by the way, that you bring up the PowerPoints, because they aren't PowerPoints. They're these like actual printed maps.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, lower
more effort.
Yeah. It's very funny and old school. And then he had several made of the progression of the growth of the land.
He hits the button.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it'll look like this.
Yeah. Well, and he had to have a conversation with the artist and be like, maybe this one is like this much growth. Okay. And then I'm thinking, yeah, maybe 5 is 7. 7's too many.
It's like George Lucas talking to the concept artists,
Yeah, exactly.
See, now this here, I think this notion of Lex Luthor just beating the living shit out of Superman, that's effective,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's kind of heartrending when he stabs him with that kryptonite shard and stuff.
Yeah.
But it feels, I don't know, you tell me, it feels so incongruous with the Lex that we have seen before. And I just mean the Gene Hackman Lex.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see how we get from that Lex to this one.
Yeah. The brutality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's something. See, okay, a couple things.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor was in jail, and then Superman didn't show up to the Pearl hearing, so they let him go.
Yeah.
Okay. Clearly, the system is broken.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you need Superman to testify, and not everything Lex did.
Right. Evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's weird, right?
And shouldn't Superman be aware of that before he leaves? I don't think his planet, if there's remnants, it's not going anywhere.
It's so stupid, right? So anyway, my point is, what if between the time Superman left and now, like, Lex Luthor has been through something that's made him far worse?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, something has happened.
Yeah, he's like De Niro in Cape Fear. We see him doing pull-ups, and he's got like tattoos on his back now.
I mean, something. I mean, you're joking, but kind of,
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the funny version, but yeah,
right.
Something like that.
Something that's made him this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A switch is flipped.
Maybe. How about this? Like, in a weird way, he needed Superman when he was gone. And because of Superman not being there, he lost something or someone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this weird like dichotomy where he hates Superman. He should be glad he's gone, but when he is gone, he needed him, and now he blames him for being gone, even though he should be happy. Does that make sense?
I love that.
Right?
I love that. Yeah, but that's the funny thing is this movie, for as long as it is, it's almost like deceptively simple.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, what did you say, right? It's under 2 hours of story.
Yeah.
I think that's about right.
And it's over 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's like 20 minutes of the hospital stuff and all, like.
Yeah.
See, this here, like when he gets stabbed and he's having trouble breathing and stuff. I mean, it's very heart-wrenching, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we needed more build up to that. It needs to hit more, I think.
Yeah. You mean like in this moment specifically, the execution?
Yeah, like I don't know that. Let me put it this way. I think it's effective to see Superman like take a pounding,
Mm-hmm.
like I think that's a good thing. We should see that he has weaknesses, but we don't have the history with this Superman and this Lex to make this moment hit. And again, it's what I'm saying. Like it wants us to sort of imprint all of that prior history.
Yeah.
But what I said before, I don't believe that the Gene Hackman Lex would do this.
Yeah. I mean, that just feels like a problem covering the entire film, right? I mean, going back
really
to his what we're supposed to be bringing ourselves, the history of Lois and Clark here, which I'm just not feeling or able to fill in myself.
That's
right. Yeah. So speaking of Richard being a hero here, you know what I mean?
He's like goddamn hero.
Yeah, he really is.
And I mean, James Marsden is just talk about one of the most dependable actors.
Yeah, totally.
You plug this guy in, he's going to give you something good.
Yeah,
and he's good in this
for a long time. Yep. I mean, even recently his show Jury Duty.
Yes, exactly.
It's fun watching him let loose a little bit on that, do something different.
Or like the Sonic movies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like the man knows the assignment,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anchorman 2.
Anchorman 2. That's right.
Jack Lame. Yeah. But I don't. everything that's happening here is somewhat effective, but it's just it's just so slow.
Yeah.
You know, it just luxuriates to a fault.
Yeah. Well, you said languid. I think that's really appropriate. I mean, this should be high stakes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the editing where something's getting lost or well, and again, the visuals are so muddy that it despite it being shot well, and to your point, beautiful shot compositions, but not necessarily pleasant to look at always.
Yeah, and that, it could be that he literally shot a series of concept art or storyboards or whatever, but sometimes you have to let go of the thing you have in your head,
right,
for the sake of flow.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is great. I mean, I like this.
Yeah.
And it's almost ironic too. In here, Superman can't fly, but Richard can.
Yeah, there you go.
That little boy. It's funny when he goes down the waterfall and there's that shot where you see the craggy rocks and it disappears behind. And of course, you got to wait like 2-3 beats and then it'll come up closer to the camera. It made me think, who invented that shot? That gets used a lot.
That's funny. Wow.
I don't know if Hitchcock came up with that whole dolly zoom thing, but we attribute it to him. And so I was like, yeah, who came up with that? That's a really effective beat. I mean, we see it coming now, unfortunately.
Well, if I may, you can expect to see something in that lineage when you watch the new Superman.
The dolly zoom?
No, the drop.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So, how funny. Okay.
That's not a spoiler, but
sure. That's so funny. I would love it to be from like Porky's or some like terrible movie, so everyone is like, "Oh, we don't know where that came from." We don't need to give it a name.
No, it was in Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's quite a long shard. I was like, "Ouch."
Yeah, well, and he broke it off, right? See, so now we get this Superman recovering, and then the big climactic moment is Superman lifting the island into space, which you'd think at the script stage they would have been like, maybe that's not really the crowd pleaser that we want to go for,
Right. You want to shut something down with a ticking clock, or you want to something.
Like, think about the climax of Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. It's the train going into the center of the town, or Wayne Tower, and right. I mean, there's a clear sense of progression of what we have to do and what's stopping our hero from doing it, right? And it all works. And then
by this moment, it must be done by this moment.
Yeah. And there's none of that here, because the notion of the Kryptonian island is so abstract, and it seems like Superman has already see that right there, the CGI double.
Yeah,
you're telling me you couldn't have just put him on wires and just? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
I do like I like them reinforcing this is something very similar in Batman versus Superman, where he gets recharged by the sun. I do like that.
Yeah.
But that sense that the island is going to destroy Metropolis. Like what the movie has done is, he had Superman zip through the city, he stopped the globe, and now Metropolis is safe.
Yeah.
And now let's take care of this island.
This thing should be continuing to grow.
Exactly.
Seems like it's kind of stopped.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
That's a good point. This should be coming closer and closer, and a tidal wave is coming, and boats are lifting out of the water. And if this thing gets any bigger, it's gonna squash the city. So he's got to get rid of it before it can get any bigger or do that. Yeah. It's good.
Now Lex has these, I guess, floppy disks, basically, right? These crystals.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. What's he supposed to do with those?
Yeah, he doesn't have the player.
Yeah,
the drive to put them in. Well, I mean, but is that what he was? Am I wrong? He was shavings of that mixed with the kryptonite is what was creating these.
So he's just going to make more islands?
That's right. Yeah. So that I didn't realize that. Well, I guess that goes back to the multiple maps. I guess this is map 1 we're looking at. And so he's just going to, it makes no sense. Why are we? It's not like he makes a new mass and they'll connect in some sort of.
Well, what was the next step? Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah. Whoop! Oh, these are out of order here. Hold on. Oh man. Yeah, and it's funny. I know. Well, the tones are very different in the first one, but the Parker Posey character, like, she just seems so. I feel like sad every time I see her. And then even this moment here where she throws the crystals out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
And then she almost sounds like an abused partner where she's just like, I'm sorry. I was like, this is unpleasant.
So she is essentially the Miss Tessmacher character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So I wish she had like maybe a little more spunk to her. So like she's doing something heroic here. She's doing something bold. She's finally going against this guy. And the way that it's executed to me just feels so, I don't know, not fun.
It is fascinating to me how some of these beats just replay, right? Like, again, it's just like Valerie Perrine in the first one. And then, there's the Lex Luthor has a love interest in the new film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird how you have these echoes,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, maybe it's just like that's how these stories are,
Sure. But like I'd almost want to see her owning her moment here.
Like, yeah, I did it.
Sort of. Like, billions
bastard.
of people are going to die. Yeah, you bastard. Like, no, like, yeah. But it just, like I said, it's almost played like too realistic. Her in tears and apologizing to him, and
but that gets to what I think is just a tonal misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Right? Because what the 78 movie gets is that, even as it treats the subject matter seriously, there's a little bit of archness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it sort of just reminding you, well, we're having fun here still,
Yeah.
Where Lex Luthor is launching the 2 missiles is in the 78 movie, and Superman's like, you don't even know where the second missile's going. He's like, I know exactly where it's going. Hackensack, New Jersey. and that's where Miss Tessmacher's like, Lex, my mother lives in Hackensack. And he just kind of looks at his watch and he's like, no. And it's horrible, but it's funny,
Yeah.
And that's what this movie misses, is kind of finding the levity in this stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. But hasn't that been a common problem with Superman? Like, it seems like they're afraid to let it be joyful, or lest it feel corny.
Yep.
Or have the humor or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then we have, Exhibit A right here. What happens when you don't do that?
Yeah, well, especially here, right, where we've already established that the island is laced with kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
And so Superman lifts into space, and I can track with that, the idea that, like, that's just, he's fighting through. He's doing, like, this is killing him, but he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I feel like it would mean more if the stakes were a little more clearly delineated.
Yeah.
Like, even this here, it's like people are just in Metropolis kind of watching at a distance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's preventing an active threat.
Yeah.
But he isn't. I'm saying if he were. Yeah, that's what's
right?
missing. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's Superman versus an island.
As everyone just kind of watches,
Yeah.
idly from the sidelines. Although this looks pretty cool, I got to say.
I agree.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I like all of this. If seeing him sweat and pushing this thing into space, it's all great. Just to your point, if they had added attention around it.
Yeah, something that you can is tangible, you know. And this sense of like, this will kill me, but this is what I have to do.
Yeah,
you know.
And this is why the world needs Superman.
Hey, look at that! It's almost like it's what do you call it? Christ parallel.
A Christ, yeah, right. Yeah.
That's the other thing. I need Superman to. I need Superman stories to stop hitting us in the head with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get it. We
got it. Yeah.
I appreciate it, and it's important, but you know, little less.
Yeah.
I feel like that came in with 78, like that really driving home the Christ metaphor.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like, how is it alluded to in that movie?
Well, what I'm thinking of is you have Jor-El, like when he sees the Jor-El AI, right, and he says, you know, they can be a good people. They wish it. They lack only the light to show the way, and that is why I've sent them you, my only son.
Ah, gotcha.
Right. Pretty on the nose.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when we do like the crucifixion pose every other version, it feels cheap somehow. I don't know. Maybe that's me.
Or it's like, that's an interesting thing someone clocked.
Yes.
And so they did it. Great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to become part of the checklist for every film.
For every version. Right?
Yeah. There's something effective about seeing Superman on a gurney in a hospital.
Yeah.
Kind of like makes you, oh no. Like seeing someone so powerful be vulnerable.
Well, what I like about this, to me, it kind of evokes a little bit like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 when he's on the train. You remember?
Yep.
Right? Like everybody comes together.
Yes,
know?
Exactly.
And we're going to help him because he helps us.
Our hero needs help.
Yeah.
So we'll come together.
I do
and
like
help
that.
him. Me too. I always like that. I do love them trying to jab the needle in his arm and it just bends.
Yeah.
But then I did think about the defibrillator, and I was like, I mean, why would it blow up? I don't know. I mean, he's like, maybe he's like kind of made of steel, but it's not like he's electrified, is he?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? What? I mean, I don't know how defibrillators work. I'm the wrong guy to ask.
I don't either. Now, this is an effective smash cut, I think. Right?
But it feels like a Simpsons thing.
I will admit I didn't remember the ending of this movie. So then the hard cut to the Superman is dead headline. But then, this slow move the camera reveal that there's two headlines.
Right? It's Milhouse, I'm so sorry. He can't hear you anymore. He has gauze in his ears.
Yeah. or it's like when Bart goes to Milhouse's place, the one you call Milhouse is gone. And he's like, what? He's like, yes, to his grandmother's house. We're fumigating the place, you know? Yeah.
See, so the movie has gone out of its way to establish that Richard is a good dude.
Yeah.
Right. And so herein lies the dilemma, because obviously it's Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
We want Superman and Lois to end up together, but we don't want like Richard to get shafted in this.
Mm-hmm.
And so where do things go next?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they just like co-parenting?
Well, according to the kid's picture.
That's right.
And we can see who's in the lead.
It's so like let's say we do a sequel. Does that entail Richard dying? You know, like.
And,
like
we want him to die so we can feel better.
That's what I'm saying. None of that is good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, I thought it was interesting, too, when she says we're going to the hospital to Perry there, and he gives this knowing smile.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, isn't this kid your relative? You know, James Marsden? Like, so you're actively rooting against him and Lois getting Back with Superman, even your own family's against you. Doesn't he also play a similar role in The Notebook? Isn't he
in the
guy
Notebook? Yep.
Yeah.
No, and in Enchanted.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
James Marsden, always the bridesmaid.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot about him in Jury Duty. That was so funny.
That was a really
just brilliant,
pleasant surprise. That series.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people haven't seen that, it's kind of a twist on a reality show about these people on jury duty.
That's right.
Very entertaining. Very sweet.
See, I love all the people who are outside.
Me too.
That all tracks with me. But again, I think we needed more. We needed something that connects what Superman just did to the people in terms of being directly impacted by what he did.
Yeah. Because they could have been swayed by Lois's article. Like, did we really need? We lived fine without him for 5 years, and then when this enormous catastrophe presents itself, and there's nothing they could do to save themselves from that on land in Metropolis. You do need Superman. Yeah. Oh, it's right there.
That's the thing, right? But when he first shows up, well, think about it. When he first shows back up, everybody's cheering except Lois, right? And I think that's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should be a lot more circumspect, and he's trying to win them back. And this is the ultimate thing he does to win them back.
You're so right.
You know?
Yep. You mentioned his costume and the boots.
Yeah.
This shot made me think, like, damn, those are some clunky boots.
They're big and bulky, and they got big S's on them.
Yeah, so it made me think it wouldn't be an easy thing. We always get which I love, but the sort of cheat shot of him running down an alley and then ripping open his buttoned up shirt, and we're like, got it. And he's changing into the thing. But when you really think about it, like, man, when does he put on those boots?
Yeah, that's a lengthy process.
Yeah.
See, I feel nothing between Lois and him.
I know.
And that's a failing of this movie's script, where it's done nothing to make us, feel that they have a prior connection.
It would be nice if we had seen her wrestle a little bit more internally throughout the whole movie.
That's right.
She's kind of at a distance or dismissive of him, but it would be nice to see her. She has something she wants to say, but will she allow herself to do it? And this is the moment now,
right,
where she may lose him, where she finally says the thing she's been holding back.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even if it's something like she's putting on a front towards him, like, no, we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But we're seeing, in an unguarded moment that she's still pining for him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, look, the problem ultimately, it comes down to the fact that the filmmakers created kind of an unsolvable dilemma in terms of this love triangle.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You could have just not,
Yeah. But sometimes I wonder about this. When you have someone like Superman, you're Warner Brothers, you own Superman. Every filmmaker wants to make that movie.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, it seems like sometimes they're going to pick whoever has the most unique take.
Sure.
And so, well, what if Superman left for 5 years and he has a kid? Like, that sounds like, oh, well, I don't know. What does that look like?
Yeah.
I can see why that rose to the top, just because it sounds different than just, we're going to make a rip-roaring Superman movie.
Right.
But then this maybe makes the case that isn't always the best option, just because it sounds the most unique and interesting and different from what you've done before.
Well, yeah, and I don't doubt that Singer goes in with this pitch, and they bought the pitch without the script.
Oh, totally, yeah. Well, right. I read that the principal actors signed on without a script. Just like, want to be in Superman? They're like, yep.
Yeah, but directed by Bryan Singer, of course.
Yeah.
At that moment, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Right? and there's no reason to think that it wouldn't have performed. I mean, why, why wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, it's very sweet, where you have Brandon Routh, like, he's leaving to go film the movie, and his family's all saying goodbye, and you're like, man, this guy, and he's about to just ride that express train to stardom.
Mm.
And to be fair, I mean, the guy's continued working.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's not like his career just tapped out after this movie, but it is kind of sad, because, like, he is sort of the George Lazenby of Supermans,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad he got a chance to come back and put some measure of closure on it.
Totally. Yeah, that's nice.
Like I say, if you get the chance, go to YouTube, just watch his bits from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I love this, the little flirty glance the nurse gives the security guard.
Yeah.
Which makes you think, like, oh, do they have like a little thing that's going on? That's kind of nice.
That's the stuff you want to be thinking about while you're watching a Superman movie.
Right. But I mean, she's probably, she doesn't have any lines, but so it's like, how do you go in and make some sort of impact with your one little moment? And
yeah,
I feel like, oh, she, I don't know if she did it or the director, but gave them a little business.
That's hilarious. See, like this right here, this is a great shot, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm going to say maybe you didn't need the slow zoom in from behind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, this is a very long movie.
I know. It would be kind of an interesting, if you had an advanced editing class at a college, to give them this movie and be like, what would you do? Like, snap it up a little bit.
I remember reading an interview with Tarantino where he's like, Superman Returns is great, man. Like, people don't get it.
Yeah, I know. I think he wrote like a 20-page essay about it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I haven't read that, but I don't believe him.
He's funny like that, though. He seems to like enjoy having contrarian takes on things.
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But this gets... Okay, well, let's talk about this real quick.
Please.
So... I don't feel anything here.
I know.
And I'm supposed to feel everything.
I know.
Right?
Superman looking at his son.
Yeah.
Asleep. Well, he's literally invaded a house. They don't know he's in there. And he's watching his son, and this is the son he's missed out on for 5 years. I mean, unknowingly abandoned, and
Well, you know what I thought about? Part of the reason, there are no real moments between Superman and Jason before this. Like, just them together.
Yeah.
Where Superman rescues Jason and they talk and they laugh together, something,
Yeah, or he recognizes something in him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a very arbitrary way in which Superman ends up here, where he's like, okay, this is my son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's very stoic.
Yeah.
Also, right? Like, wouldn't you like to see a little bit of regret on his face, and then a little tenderness? And like, I want to see a whole range of emotions in this moment, but it's just very, again, I just feel like I'm looking at a beautiful painting.
Yeah.
And someone speaking very, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stoic.
No, well, Again, at the time this movie came out, this was a remarkable paradigm shift, because, okay, well, now Superman has a kid, and now, you have to deal with that. It is somewhat ironic that, in the comic books since then, Superman does have a son, and that's just in the mix now. Batman has a son now too, right? Robin, the current Robin, is Batman's son. And that's I don't read the comics currently, but that itself is so fascinating, because that's such a permanent status shift. Right? Like, you can't undo that.
Well, and usually that's what a television show does when they've run out of stories. They introduce a kid.
So maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that that's the case for them, but it's like you are almost painting yourself into a corner because you see no other options.
That's right. Yeah.
At least in terms of TV series. So it's weird that this is how they would kick off this new series of Superman movies.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, so it's setting up this idea of like, okay, now they're somewhat like amicable between each other.
Mm-hmm.
But again, let's postulate that we move forward with the sequel. There's nowhere to go with the Superman Lois relationship unless James Marsden, takes a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah.
You like that? I know you like that.
I do.
For folks listening, not James Marsden doing the turn of phrase.
Yeah. Well, what's the kid supposed to be feeling? I mean, for all he
Exactly.
knows, Richard is his dad, and
yeah.
But now, obviously, he's going to want, if he senses some sort of connection between him and Superman, he's going to want to explore that. And it's just sad. Or not sad. I mean, that happens in life, but it's just overly complicated, emotionally complicated for what I want out of my Superman.
This
adventure.
right here, that's CGI Brandon Routh.
Yeah.
You're telling me you couldn't just film him?
I know. There's no point.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
No, that's all. Just overly emotionally complicated that's not what I'm showing up for 2 hours for with my Superman film.
Right. And so we go through that whole emotional rigmarole, and then we end with this restatement of the John Williams music to be like, yeah, but it's like that thing you love.
Yeah.
And it just feels dishonest to me.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Right? It's again, it's cosplaying as that thing that I love.
And it's interesting, or notable at least, that he does look at the camera.
Yeah.
But he doesn't smile.
Yeah. Right. Wow. So Superman Returns.
Wow. I didn't imagine this being a 2.5 hour dog pile, but well, I wouldn't call it a dog pile, but airing grievances.
Airing of grievances. Absolutely. Yeah. So where are you at? This is now your third time watching it in 19 years.
Yeah. And 2 of those have been in 12 hours. So, I will say, I'm sorry for people who listened and love this one, and we're hoping to hear just more. I'm sure people are aware that there's mixed feelings about this, but yeah, we definitely leaned into, there's the dedication to, Christopher Reeve, Dana Reeve.
Yeah. Both of them. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag. I did enjoy seeing it again, just for the sake of curiosity. There's a couple fun moments, and I am a very visual film viewer. I can watch a movie with the sound off, or I could watch a movie back to back easily, because I just like looking at movies so much. So it doesn't even matter that I've seen the story already. I just like studying the frame. So this movie's a meal when it comes to that.
Beautiful shots.
So I definitely did get something out of that. But at the end of the day, this isn't a movie that I feel like watching again just when I want to pop in a Superman movie.
Another 19 years, maybe?
Kind of. I mean, for all the reasons we've said, now for the past 2+ hours. Like, it's just, the characters don't feel like they really have any emotional connections. The story's kind of lacking urgency. Languid. I mean, that word just keeps coming to mind.
Yeah.
But beautiful. So it's a weird sort of mixed to, negative leaning bag for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and let me just add to that. It's not surprising at all that Warner Brothers ultimately looked at this as a bit of a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Because one thing that really becomes clear is like there wasn't really anywhere appealing to go.
Yeah. Why would I want to return to this?
Right.
Well, these characterizations, because it's not like, ooh, well, then I want to see what happens next between Clark and Lois. Like, well, I didn't get anything from this movie that make me think that. Cul-de-sac is the perfect word.
Yeah.
The movie that should probably be kicking off a trilogy feels like a cul-de-sac. That's so apt.
And so it's not surprising at all that Warner Brothers went to Christopher Nolan and were like, hey, can you do Superman also,
Mm-hmm.
And it was his development process that ultimately led to David Goyer, and then ultimately Zack Snyder, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And that all went fine. Nothing out of the ordinary happened in the wake of that. But it is a reflection of like we swung the pendulum in this direction, and then we're swinging it all the way in the other direction. And then to some extent, this current iteration, we're swinging the pendulum all the way back in maybe not in this exact direction, but away from where it was previously, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, can we just find a happy medium? And you know, I hope something takes. I hope people have learned the appropriate lessons.
Yeah. Well, and it feels like people are willing to take more swings, or not more swings, but with Batman, he gets more opportunity, is what I'm trying to say. Like, they just keep making them. And it feels like Superman has these longer gestation periods.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, and I wonder why that is.
You know what's remarkable is that at the time Superman came, the first movie, the 78 movie came out, it was this big hit. And it was like, oh, we got to do Batman next. And it was like, no, Batman is like, it's that 60s TV show. Nobody's going to take it seriously, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a high hill to get past that it took, 11 years later for the movie to come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like once Batman 89 happened, it just permanently situated Batman in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's Batman will always be cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I say that as if it comes down to it, I love them both, but Superman is still my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, it's weird how, despite the fact that first movie generated such cultural goodwill,
yeah,
it burned off, and they've been trying to recapture it ever since. At least in the movies. I mean, TV wise, Superman has done okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've had between the quest for peace and now, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 live action Superman shows.
Wow.
Right? So it's doing fine
in
that regard. But hopefully this new one will be where the flint finally catches a flame, you know?
I hope so. I'm very excited to talk about it with you soon.
Well, with that in mind, those of you listening, if you have any thoughts on Superman Returns, or thoughts on our thoughts on Superman Returns, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, leave a star rating at Spotify if you don't mind. We also have a Patreon page, Brian.
Yes, we do. If you head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and hit subscribe for only $5 a month, you'll find every commentary we have ever done. And there are a lot of them. Of course, every episode we do moving forward will all be absolutely ad-free. Our free feed will always be available, but this is our way of providing what we believe is the most satisfying way to enjoy the show without random interruptions and ads butting into the conversation. Plus, your subscription goes a long way in helping to support us and helping to sustain producing this show. So if you're interested and able, please head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and hit subscribe. We'd be very grateful.
There you go. And if you're looking for me online, you can find me on social media at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. Also look for my write-up at the San Francisco Chronicle, where I look back at the 1978 Superman movie and why it is so important even this many years later. Brian, what about you?
Episodes I've written of Young Jedi Adventures can be found streaming on Disney+.
There you go. And with that, on behalf of my partner Brian Hall, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been our commentary track for Superman Returns. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, folks.